Come see by me. And we swing and swing right, swing left. Roll with me or get rolled over. I'm rolling like a locomotive. Ain't no stopping me now. 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 Ain't no stopping me now.
Go ahead. No, so who is your historians that you look at them enough to shovel? I'm just telling you. Tell me. So you're a historian. You're a historian, and you're tearing apart history. For what reason? No, I'm not tearing apart history. I'm giving you a corrective analysis of history. So please go ahead and start your analysis. I'm telling you that just as you told us, Tacitus did not live during the time of Jesus. That's correct. And so you're saying that he should be used as a citation for his historicity. But if you're claiming, by the way, it wasn't 500 years. He got that date wrong. Which thing was it? No, we're going to go with your wrong. I would like to know which thing it is. Digging, give them a bulldozer. I'm giving you the bulldozer. I'm giving you the keys. I'd like to know. I appreciate it. I'm not saying thank you. I'd like to know the correct time. Are you sure you want another one? So I would like to know the correct time if you do genuinely know. Because I don't want it to just be something that's a statement. Well, let me say this. You said there were over 25,000 manuscripts proving the historicity of Jesus. Correct. I asked you to name one, and you invalidated it. Name another. I didn't invalidate it. You just said that this is you. You don't believe that I knew your great-great-grandfather because I didn't live during this time. Because you don't have any knowledge of my great-grandfather. So go ahead, please tell me. How do you know that I don't? I would like to see if you do. Your reason is because you said I didn't live during this time. Tacitus didn't live during this time. But your angle of trying to have a debate by just prompting yourself to say that everything I'm saying is wrong. Give us another one. I would like to a large number. I'm asking you to go ahead and tell me your basis of knowledge. What I'm saying is just discrediting everything I'm saying because I'll cut to the chase. Yeah, sure. Let's be very clear. We have no physical evidence and no textual evidence for a literal historical Jesus Christ. And to go further, wait, hold on. Go ahead. Let's go further. Let's also recognize that much of that Jesus story is present in an earlier tradition. Yeah. The deity of resurrection was a deity that people worshipped, recognized for thousands of years before there was ever Jesus. And how do you believe that to be true? Well, I mean, I'll take you on my next trip to Kemet so you can see the artifact. Well, I'm just asking. I would like to know, how do you believe those artifacts? You weren't there. I just told you you weren't there when they were made. That could have been maddening. That could have been maddening. What's an artifact? Something that was found from a previous day to time. From that period? Yeah. Okay. What is the artifact? Have you ever heard of falsified fossils? Are you attempting to argue that the artifacts that we find can be altered, that are not questioned by any reputable scholar, any archaeologist, are falsified because, what's your name again? Roe. Because Roe said so? No, I'm not saying that Roe said so. See, that's the I'm saying to you that we have artifacts for all of these, in all of the information I'm giving you. And I'm going to tell you that before there was ever Yeshua, still pieces of his cross. There are pieces of his cross? Yes, in existence. They're spread out amongst the people. Okay. Wow. That was the plan to be spread out amongst the people, because Christianity wasn't to be a man-made thing. It was to follow Christ himself. So you believe, who put the cross up? Jesus carried his own cross up. No, I didn't ask you who carried it. I said who put it up. Some of the Romans are working. You're suggesting that the Roman centurions gave it out to people like favors at a birthday party? No, I'm not saying that. This was a sacrifice. This was a sacrifice. That they have pieces. This was a sacrificial ritual that they had. They had members that went up to the cross after he died, when he was taken down and he was put inside of the tomb. I know you don't know me. Go ahead. But usually this is the moment when I put up a sign that says source. Imagine it says source here. What's your source for that? The Bible says that they gave out the cross? No, I'm saying the pieces of the cross were spread out. And that's in the Bible? Sure. Go. What passage is that from? I'm trying to tell you from John 20:24. Jesus came back when he returned. And that's when Thomas was questioning his existence, if he was really there or not. And Jesus told him, peace be with you. Hold on. He said, peace be with you. And that's when he invited him to reach his finger inside the hole in his hand.
I hope this AI is putting up. So it's popping off or not.
Did it?
I hope it's putting up 2024.
2024? Please.
2024 says they give out pieces of the cross.
I did not say that.
Yes, you did.
I'm telling you about Jesus' existence when he returned. After that, the disciples made their agreements of what they were going to collect from the death side of Jesus. And that's what they passed on.
Here's another question.
Here's another question. Which
Which
one?
John 20. You said John 2020 or?
John 2024 is what I said.
I picked up John 2020.
Yeah, I said John 2024 when Thomas was questioning Jesus'
They gave out pieces of the cross.
No, I'm telling you the
I
steps
asked
of
you
how
for
that
your
goes.
source
Okay.
of how the cross was given out to people.
My source for that is because of the pieces that have been retrieved that people still hold on to.
Did you know
that have been carved and dated?
Did you know that there are over 31 churches in Europe that say that they have the holy purpose? Do you know what the holy purpose is?
No.
Ooh. Who knows what the holy purpose is? The foreskin of Jesus. Do you believe that they have the foreskin of Jesus?
No, I do not.
You don't believe it?
I
But
do
they
not
have it.
believe they have the foreskin.
But they have it.
But that's not my reputable source.
Oh, that's not right.
That's disgusting.
You better tell the leaders of those churches.
I will tell the leaders
It's a
of
holy
churches.
relic.
That is disgusting.
It is a holy relic.
Okay, so where's your stance on Jesus?
Oh, sleep like a motherfucker,
Your
y'all.
stance.
Go for it.
Jesus never
I'm talking
died
about
because
sleep like
Jesus
a
never
motherfucker.
lived.
So you're
It's a
saying,
mythological figure.
but you're saying that the figure that was speak about previously before Jesus, that also resurrected and went to hell. You're saying that
A
figure
Sar
did.
is also a mythological figure.
So okay, I'm
I
just
want to be
confirming.
clear.
I'm just
arguing that
confirming
Asar.
to see if you.
Some of you may know this name as Osiris. I am not saying that Asar or Osiris was a literal physical person. This is a mythological figure. And that story that you know as Jesus is an echo of an earlier story.
Correct.
And the reason why you don't know truly the story of Asar is because the early Christians destroyed it.
I do know of the stories of Osiris. I do know the stories of Og and Ra. I have looked into the Book of Enoch. So I am in agreement.
The book of Enoch has the story of
No,
Asar.
I'm not saying that. This is just another side.
But Enoch.
I'm just saying this as a side. As a side note, just in case if that's where you're gonna go next.
No, I wasn't going to.
Just in case.
Okay.
Okay, I'm taking.
I'm giving you some credit
Hold on.
reading Enoch, Byron.
So, but okay, so I'm
Because it's
saying.
not in your canon.
So of course, but what I'm saying is I follow Christ in the sense of following the purposes and the practices that he spoke of, not following the entire book of Christianity.
Okay.
That's what I was being clear of in the beginning.
That's good.
So that's where I'm coming from on my practice.
So you agree with me that Jesus is a mythological character?
I do not.
Whoa!
He's a mythological
Read a letter.
character.
You
No,
need a letter.
not a
Get this man a
mythological character.
GPS.
Not
So
a
explain to
mythological
me
character.
why
I did not say that Jesus Christ lived in the existence. Jesus Christ lived in the flesh.
Okay.
And that's why when you use his name to wrap up any of your words, it's a spiritual protection and guidance from any of the dark energies that are around you. Excuse me? He was at the tomb and he walked. That's why he doesn't have a gravesite. He's not dead. He still exists. And that's why he told you that you had that channel and you have the power to go ahead and channel Jesus inside.
His body ascended into heaven.
I didn't get upset.
I want to go see it.
He's
I wanna
not
go
dead.
flowers on
He's
the
not dead. He left the
I'm gonna
tomb.
go flowers on the tomb.
He left the
Take
tomb.
me to the tomb.
But he left the tomb.
Where is it? I'm gonna go flowers there, rivers.
Okay.
My grandfather is dead. We know he lives.
So we'll go
in a
to the tomb.
tomb.
We'll go.
I can go put in some roses on
But
it.
how do you know he's in there?
You can't take it.
But you don't know he's in there. How do you know? How do you know your grandfather's in that grave?
You think so?
How do you? But
People open graves all the time.
and a lot of times bodies aren't inside there, are
I
they?
don't know about a lot of times. Most times the bodies are still there.
How many times are they really opening these grave sites?
What do you mean? People get exhumed all the time.
But you're saying that they're opening them and there's always a body inside there.
No, I didn't say there was always. I said
Okay,
most of the time those
But most
bodies.
of the time there's also
And the
grave
thing-
robbers, and they also found out that they're harvesting.
Most of the
organs
time
from
there
bodies.
are grave robbers.
Go ahead. Yes.
Boy, you need some sources.
Oh man. Okay.
Most of the time. I'm gonna get to the cemetery
Go ahead.
immediately.
Okay.
Because this brother,
Okay.
Bro, just said that your grandpappy's body is missing.
That's
You better
okay.
get over there.
And if they find out that they are missing, then what? This is a part of the
Well, then
program.
maybe they'll call him Jesus because his body isn't here either.
Oh, okay.
Unless you believe in the holy purpose.
But Jesus did walk afterwards. Did we see that Bible?
Did Jesus walk afterwards?
Yes, for John 20:24. Did we see
Can
that
I ask you a
Bible
question?
pop up yet?
When was John written?
John was written hundreds of years after Jesus' existence.
Okay. And was it originally called the Book of John or called something else?
It was not originally called the Book of John.
So why are you using an anonymous book from a later period as a source for historicity?
But we don't have any accurate sources there for history.
You said something
correct. But no, what I'm saying, they're for all history.
No, not true.
For all history.
Not true.
Because what are you basing it off of? There's always translation. Everything
has to be. Come with me to Kemet, and I will show you hundreds of bodies that have been studied of people who are buried.
But how do you know that the information is accurate?
We know who they are. We even have bodies of their relatives, their ancestors. We have tombs. We have all of the material culture that exists. None of this we have for Jesus.
But how do you know that those names are correct? How do you know that
there were early Christians that also argue what I am arguing. That Jesus was not a literal character. And unfortunately, they actually were laughing at the people who were doing the historical orthodoxy. They were saying they have no idea what they're talking about. And then they realized they were being wiped out. You are actually following the tradition of very powerful Europeans who sought to make this story literal.
But this story was also taken literal in Chinese culture, in African culture. There's different depictions of Jesus of multiple races.
China.
But I'm saying there's different depictions of Jesus.
When did Jesus get to China? Damn.
You can find the depictions of
when did Jesus get to China?
It's not just white Jesus. You guys have this thing against white Jesus. There's different. No, he can't.
Bro, I knew your
darker
grandfather.
He's of a darker skin.
I knew your great-great-grandfather. We used to shoot dice on the border.
I don't understand why.
Trick a little bit.
Because of the fact that you guys are against white Jesus.
Caesar was here.
Thank you. Thank you.
White face.
I want to be very clear. If you were aware of the traditions that are earlier than Yeshua, and then you looked at the clear paucity of evidence, credible evidence for Jesus,
that it possibly happened multiple times.
Wait a minute, and then you looked at the fact that the early Christian church sought to destroy the Kemetic tradition, you would begin to say something smells fishy, and it would not have been the fishes multiplied by your Savior. You need to understand. Was that blasphemous?
Yeah, that is blasphemous.
Okay. What is blasphemy?
You're saying it in a sense to mock and disrespect.
No, I'm not mocking. Jesus. I'm not mocking.
But I'm saying that fishy, like the fish.
It's mythological, is what I'm saying.
I just feel like you have a very predetermined mindset.
Okay.
And I'm not in disagreement with it. What I'm saying to you is, if you're saying that it's falsified because it might have happened in different occasions in history,
that's not what I said.
Okay, so I'm trying to clear it up.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're saying that this happened previously before Christ, so it doesn't mean that it had to be true, because there's also history that Osiris went through the same resurrection process. Does that not mean that the resurrection process happens multiple times in the existence of Earth? That means that Simeon Toko can be another form of Jesus Christ. There could be other Jesus Christ that come in multiple fashions. It does not mean solely that was the only time.
Wait.
Slowly coming to the light.
This is my point I've been trying to say.
You are Jesus and you are Asar. Neither of them are literal. Neither of them are historical.
So how is it not historical if it's not?
I'm not saying
we're covering it now. This is a part of history.
I'm not saying that you can't actually say that you are a follower of Jesus or a follower of Asar.
Right.
I'm just saying when you try to make it a historical story, you do that with overwhelming religious bias. And when you look at the historical analysis, there was no Jesus.
But if there is different coverage that's beyond history from the Bible, does that still not count as history? If other people are reporting and covering and talking about Jesus, we're in the year 2026 AD. Hold on 1 second. We're in 2026 AD. We're all in agreement to this. If we're not in 2026, what year are we in? Can you tell me what year is China in?
Wait, let's.
But that's still AD, right? Is it still AD? Is it still not Anno Domini de Jesus Christi?
It's only 13 months actually, so you gotta go by the correct calendar. Right?
So,
go about 12 months.
Sure.
No 12-month cycle.
But it's still AD, right?
No, it's 1446 this year.
1446. Where'd you get that from?
You gotta take away the time they stole. You gotta take away the fact that it's actually 13 months. You take away all of that, right? And you take away the time they stole and you place history, you'll come up to the same year.
1446. I please would like to see the math on that. But
Well, I'm going
what
to tell you
year would
something
you
interesting.
say?
I'm going to tell you something interesting. All of the texts that you're referencing, none of them actually were written at the time that Jesus existed. And many of them, we have earlier versions of them that are different than the versions we read now. And there were entire books that were left out of the canon. That's the Bible that you read. But aren't you at the point at this point where you don't trust the institution that gave you that book?
Of course.
Okay, good. So then why are you citing the book that they gave you as proof?
You asked me the source, and that's the
Wait.
physical source.
Here's the question.
That's the physical source. Now, if you'd like to know my spiritual source,
Why
that's
are you?
different.
No, I'm not asking for your spiritual.
So I gave you I gave you the physical source.
I'm saying that source is not a good historical source. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't written during the time that Jesus lived. It certainly wasn't written by someone named John.
Of course not. These names were interpreted later on under
Why are
King
you
James.
using them as a historical source?
You asked
What's up, bro?
because it's still written in history.
This was still one study. Do you think there are of Peter Parker Spider-Man? More than 25,000?
There are multiple interpretations of Peter Parker.
Peter Parker Spider-Man is a historical character then.
Yeah, he is a part of history because he does exist.
No.
Does he not exist?
We're
No.
talking
Do the
about
comics not
literal historical
If you
figure.
can say a physical date for the creation of Peter Parker, he exists.
So you
So
believe
if we had a hold on,
So
yeah,
you
it just
believe
says that it did. This is
You
a
believe
form
that
of a
Zeus
demigod.
existed?
This is a form of a demigod as well. I know they call him
Jesus is a
a god.
demigod?
No, I said Zeus. You're
Zeus is
asking
a demigod.
You're asking about Zeus.
Oh. It seems like he has to go back and learn Greek history.
No, I understand that Hercules is deemed a demigod, but I'm saying a demigod in the sense of the
So
fallen
you believe that
angels.
Zeus existed?
Hold on. The fallen angels that came down to earth that had sex with humans and they were
Angels. You're mixing a lot of stuff together.
No, this is talked about inside the Bible as well, and this is where we have these demigods from.
The Bible
That's
for
what
information
Zeus
around.
is.
So you believe that
But
Zeus
I'm
is a-
saying that
so
the
you
existence of
believe
Zeus exists. You see
you
these two
believe that
different
Zeus
Zeus
is a literal historical figure. That's what you're
Yes,
saying.
sure. Go ahead. Yes.
You do?
Yes. I don't think you can shoot
I'm telling
lightning.
you, it's not
I don't
Sunday,
think
but
you
they're
shoot
not going to
lightning.
let you back in church on Sunday.
So
They're not going to let you
these
in.
different religions
They're gonna say,
all
"Oh, no,
correspondingly
no."
overlap at once. No, I would like to know his sources.
You just switch it right now. You know everything he's saying. You just on that side. You're trying to go against it. You should
Religious bias.
I feel you.
You're not a fucking.
I follow Christ. I'm not a Christian in the sense of going to the church. I follow Christ.
You're not a Christian.
Christianity is following Jesus Christ. No, I'm not a Gnostic. I believe in following Jesus Christ and the consciousness of Christ.
You left there, but not.
He said a bunch of things that
I follow
he said a
Christ.
bunch of things
I
that would
follow
be accepted in
Christ.
the modern church.
I understand that, and that's why I have issues with the pastors in the modern church. I have issues with
Issues
some
with
of
them lying about a historical figure that is a mythological figure.
No.
Okay, so that's probably.
I have issues with making profit on the name of God and the name of Jesus.
Okay.
I have issues with making a mockery of it. And I have issues that they're going ahead and they're perpetrating and pushing through different verses like in Leviticus that tell you about being a good slave. I don't go hand in hand with those. I know that that's from the manipulation of the book that's been indoctrinated across the land.
That's a good start. That's a good start.
I'm saying I am a follower of Christ.
Okay, but you can be a follower of Christ. We're talking about.
Right, so that is a Christian.
We're talking about whether Christ was a literal, historical, living person. So that's what we're talking about.
So let me
I'm not saying you can't be a follower.
Okay.
I'm
What?
never saying that.
So thank you. So
I'm just
now that
saying
we're back on the Bible.
Jesus didn't die because he never
Hey,
lived. Are you
what?
getting the problem?
How you play this, bro?
I'm back to you.
Okay.
So they recorded
What?
33 AD that there
Huh?
was a sun moon. There was a blood moon. They recently
What?
just released this information.
Okay.
That there was a confirmed
Hey,
blood moon that was
what?
talked about on the night of the crucifixion.
Hey, how you play this, bro?
That was a part of the satanic ritual. Jesus Christ was killed for a satanic ritual.
Where you get that from? Whoa, you going? He's going even farther afield than I am. They are not going to let you get into
telling
church
you.
on Sunday.
That's fine.
Come to the shrine. We'll let you in.
Look, man, I like you, and I
like
like
you
you.
Oh, so this is like
Right.
Where you stand on this?
just like how the Star Wars one when you gotta level up and shit,
So you're suggesting that if there was
buy
a
your
blood
guns and
Yes,
shit.
that was discussed.
then that means that Jesus literally was crucified at that time.
Yes.
Do you know that when you
They documented.
wait, listen. When you read comic books about Peter Parker, Spider-Man, they often use historical events. I have a cover of Peter Parker meeting Barack Obama. I think we both agree that Barack Obama is a literal figure, right?
Correct.
So does that mean that Spider-Man is a literal figure, someone that actually lived?
Do you agree that Pilate was a literal figure?
I think that we have proof now that Pilate was a literal figure.
Okay, but he interacted with Jesus Christ, and he was the one behind the execution.
So then you believe that Peter Parker... Wait. So then you're saying you believe that Peter Parker Spider-Man is literally someone who lived.
Sandwich eating ass, boy. Wait.
Did Peter Parker in real life Barack Obama?
You eat sandwiches, bro. Damn.
Tom Holland, the actor, did, so he still...
You could have waited, bro.
I don't know what Tom Holland is. Did he play Jesus though?
He didn't play Jesus. But in the sense of your question, Spider-Man did Barack Obama in that sense.
So that's okay.
Not mean that art and history cannot...
Yeah, because you should have waited. Sandwich eating ass.
It can also be the same depiction of something that is...
I think that you're losing the point that we're
not Jesus Christ did.
Yeah. The point that we are making is that Jesus Christ was not a literal physical person.
Or
that's the point we're making. Is there a mythological story about him? Of course there is. Of course there is. And I even think there's wisdom to be learned by his story. But when we try to make that story literal, historical, we have problems.
So what proof do you have that disproves that Jesus exists?
I just told you.
Because you haven't found anything.
The first thing
you don't find anything.
Wait. It's not just not finding things. It's also looking at the fact that much of his story was told in an earlier tradition, and then the people that told you that there was a literal Jesus sought to wipe out that tradition.
I understand. So
right off the bat, you should say something is fishy here.
I understand what you're saying, but the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Something can still be there.
Okay. Let's move on. Please hit like and subscribe. It helps us grow the show and helps us get bigger guests. Thank you so much.
If you said that beings here are in taking blood or in taking life force energy from, let's just say, the youth or to stay around longer, right? You said Earth is a prison planet, so why are they not trying to die?
I'm not asking a question. You said a lot of things. I know niggas in prison that don't want to get out. But you said something about, repeat your question.
Why are they usurping energy from blood? Why do they need blood to live longer? This is a prison planet and they want to die.
You said, nobody said nobody want to die. You said it's not possible?
No, I'm asking why they not trying to get up out of here like this. If you look at the,
why
if you look at, hold on. If you look at like, let's just say Egyptians, right? Just so everybody understand what I'm saying. If you look at the Egyptians, they studied how to die and not come back, right?
I don't think
so.
you did.
Why is beings
no one
spend my ebook just to get up.
That thing that you just said was kind of like
fuck I look like.
So nobody tell you how to die. See, a lot of people think that they were born dying, but then that's because they dead. Listen, I'm gonna say this. What I was talking about was stem cells, gang. That's inside of
like a Petri dish.
Exactly. You're not talking about stem cells that's inside of your blood that they use in order to keep youth in the body. See, you're trying to confuse a lot of things. You're trying to confuse the spiritual reality with the physical reality. Right? I'm talking about this reality as far as the physical reality. Right now, they're taking synthetic cells and putting them inside your body.
Right.
They creating
foods, engineered ingredients. Yeah. You look at the back of your legs.
Yeah. I'm talking about
fake strawberry.
Wow, bro.
Yeah, I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about what you think I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual ways so your body will age.
If they want to live longer, they gonna keep drinking the blood, right? They gonna keep usurping it. We in Babylon, right? Everybody can agree on that. We in a modern day Babylon.
Who said that? You said that.
I said that.
I say right now, see this.
I'm gonna tell you why we in a modern day Babylon. You look at the flag, right? The LTTT flag. I'm just gonna say that y'all understand what I'm saying, right? It's flipped upside down because the chakra color is at the bottom. So you see the purple crown frequency is at the bottom, right? And the red root chakra is at the top.
Right.
What run the land right now? Degeneracy, debauchery, etc., etc. You know what I'm saying?
To say all of that, you had to think about it right now. To say all that you just said, you had to think about it right now.
I have to think about it or pull it from my memory.
You had to say it right now. It only existed right now. There's no way, even right now, you're going to say, okay, cool, something going to happen in the future. When you get to the future, it's going to only be right now. All we have is right now.
I suck at this.
We're talking about right now. We in Babylon. But it's the Pride Month right now.
But you're using things from different realities that's also happening that don't have nothing to do with
we in a multiverse.
But you're here right now. that cannot help you right now. See,
Why I can't?
Because I'm saying this. Information can't help you right now. Only thing that can help you right now is
Information.
You gotta go in that room, bro, and get money, bro.
The only thing that can help you right now is the fact you understand yourself and learn how to deal with you, right? Because a lot of people want to worry about information, but information can't help you. I know a lot of niggas that think they're smart and need a whole lot of.
So we need to rob it together, bro.
Listen, the only thing that's gonna help you is to take control of you, to understand that it's only you, and information can't help
Sound what you mad, boy.
A lot of people assume that information is good, but they're gonna pass information, you're gonna forget you. All I'm gonna say is this. Only thing that we both can prove right now that we're sitting across from each other in this moment.
Yeah.
Anything else that you said, we can't even say that it happened. So only by another man.
What's a prompt?
What's a prompt?
You playing delusional.
No, I'm asking what's a prompt. Explain to me what a prompt is.
A prompt is a set of questions.
Now ask your question again.
What is a prompt?
The question is the answer. Right? I don't think you understand. Because a lot of people say a lot of things, but once you say it, you already told yourself the answer because everything exists inside
On
you.
the prompt, they say that you agree that we live in a simulation planet, right? I live in a simulation, Earth simulation. 607 Hunt, the character agreed to a simulation planet, right?
Did you come on
It's
out?
wrong on the paper.
Did you see or hear me say it? Listen, he just said that Jesus was here and nobody can understand and validate that.
There's no
That
historical
paper don't mean
God.
that paper suggests that I said that. It don't mean that I said
You
that.
can use J's in the alphabet.
He said that. He put that there. Them his thoughts. Them are not mine. So we're here having a conversation. So
But you agreed to when you sat down
What?
and spoke.
No, I didn't agree. I agreed to sit down.
You agreed with the prompts.
No, I agreed to sit
You had a
down.
spiritual contract.
No.
You sat down and
I
walked out.
agreed to sit down.
Okay.
Right? And I'm agreements to this conversation. Right? I have not heard a topic.
Okay, so my first claim, 607 versus 10. It said, this is why I said 607 because I already said mine. It didn't say first claim, it said my first claim. Unless he even spoofed you or judged you or what is called defrauded you your mind. It says my first claim is that Earth is a prison planet, right? So why is there beings here usurping blood to stay here longer? It can't be that fucked up.
I'm saying this. I'm gonna say this again. For me, I know niggas that's better in prison. Right? They go to prison.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty they go to prison and they better in prison because no matter where you go, it's a prison. Relationship in prison. Right. You go relationship and it get
But you can be in a relationship and be free in your mind.
but not at 3 o'clock in the morning. Even if you ain't doing that, you gonna go start tripping because this girl gonna be tripping. It's gonna the thought go in your mind because she gonna think you doing something else. You are in her prison. Trust is in prison.
So if I'm in that relationship where the prison staying, I'm free now?
So you got freedom is peace. Relationships is prison because let me tell you about relationship because it's trust, right? You say trust is good. Everybody like, man, I want to trust everybody. I can't do that. Fuck trust because I only trust the fact that whatever you do, I trust in the fact that I'm gonna be okay with it, right? And whatever decision you make is good for you. I can't make.
But through your journey, you was able to access peace or freedom, right? So why can't I access freedom on Earth?
It's kind of crazy because what journey? Because like again, if left and right is different, I suggest that nothing ever moving that is never a journey. I suggest everything is at a standstill, everything's happening in the mind. That's what I suggest, right? Because I don't think nobody can prove that anything is moving. Because right now they say the earth moving, but you got other people that prove that it's not. Right now you got people saying the earth is flat, you got other people that prove that it's not.
It don't matter.
No, because earth is not a location.
Right.
So I think
Piece of guy.
get it wrong when they try to make it a location and try to make it a shape. Earth is a
Do
shapeshifter.
you think it's like an architect of the Matrix? How they show Earth?
Earth is a shapeshifter. It changed with the thoughts.
The reason why I asked you, do you think it's an architect of the Matrix? Because who's setting up the simulation? A programmer. Who the fuck is that?
Everybody think that because there's a program that they gotta have a programmer. That's what you suggest. But the way it's no programmer. But if you want to call it a programmer, we gotta call it programmer God. But it's not a God.
Or a creator.
Listen, whatever you want to call it.
It's
God, creator,
It's God that
praxis.
It's God that run this planet. That's okay.
But everything is God because listen, everything exists inside of God. So you take one.
Let me say this. I think of God as generator, operator, destroyer of my realm when I think of the word God, right?
Then that's God.
But the create, I didn't create my heartbeat. I didn't create my heart. I didn't create none of how my body is.
Right.
Who designed this? Okay, somebody designed this table, right? Who designed these suits?
That's what caused a lot of stress. See, a lot of people think that. Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. If people walk outside and there's $1 million on their doorstep, they're gonna just spend it. They're gonna enjoy it. They're not gonna say, "Who sent me this money?" Now they're gonna spend all the time and like, "Who sent me this money?"
Yeah.
Here's the problem: human perception is to want to know too much. You're here to observe this reality, right? You're here to enjoy this reality, right? You're here to feel emotions, both fear, pain, all of them you're here to feel, but you're not here to live in any
I'm
of
not
them.
supposed to understand.
No,
Like when you say, okay, so I grew up in like, I'm not NOY or nothing, but my dad taught me like 1 through 9 knowledge, wisdom, understanding. He know all that NOY type of information because
right.
he came up off that too, right? But what I'm trying to say is,
No, you have a brain for it. So what you just happened is you just switch realities, right? A lot of people understand it, and it go on in your mind. We switch realities all day, right?
meant to be said.
It probably was, but you just switched realities, right? But it was said in a different reality,
Yeah.
right? But listen, people don't understand that. A lot of people want this just to be one thing. But if it just be one thing, then it'd just be boring as fuck.
Yeah.
You can't stay here too long. A lot of people want to say that this is infinite. No, it's not infinite. It's infinite possibilities, right? A lot of things can happen here infinite amount of times. That's all I'm saying.
Thanks for staying all the way to the end, guys. It means a lot to me. If you could please leave a review on Apple, that helps us climb the charts. It helps us get way more guests. It helps us continue growing the podcast as a team. So it would mean a lot to me if you left a review on Apple or wherever else you're listening. Thanks so much.
One of the top debaters on the 1 on 10 series. Thanks for coming, bro.
Oh, brother, how you doing?
I'm good. What do you disagree with on?
Well, I was reacting to the last prompt about Jesus not being a real person, and I think there's a lot of historical evidence that Jesus actually having existed. I don't know about the 25,000 documents and stuff.
It said about 8,000 on video.
8,000, but like you have like the Shroud of Turin, for example, you know, where you have something that is a nuclear fusion that happens with this man's body. So it literally prints on the actual fabric, which I don't think there's ever been a human in history that has gone through nuclear fusion. And we're talking about a photocopy from 2,000 years ago of this man's body.
And it had the face on there?
Yeah, the face, it had the wounds.
Let me ask you one question. The face that was on there, I know what you're talking about. That face looked just like the face that was painted of Jesus that was not Jesus. That was the face that looked like yours, right? Because that's the face they put next to it. But that's not Jesus. So whoever that was, it was not Jesus. And that is proven that Jesus didn't have your face. Because
How does that prove?
history, they just proved it because where he was from, where he grew up at, and it was hot as hell over there. How the fuck can he be pale? It doesn't make sense.
I mean, my ancestors are from places that you're talking.
Her of wool. Her of wool.
Sorry, I understand.
Her of wool.
What is that? Hair wool.
That's what Jesus had.
Okay.
Do you have her of wool?
What is
Do
it?
you even have her at all?
Oh, I don't actually know.
No. Listen, I don't understand. So listen, I'm saying, according to the fact that
What is hair wool? What is that?
listen. According to what you said, you believe that Jesus existed. The Bible also gave a description. They told you how Jesus looked. And the blanket that you suggest was Jesus that also put a face in front of it. The face in front of it was different than the way they described Jesus in your Bible. So who was under that blanket?
Well, the question to me is, what's the coincidence that literally 2,000 years ago, right around the time that this dude dies, where he's resurrected, there's an actual...
You didn't ask the question. Why is the face different?
See, but you're already coming to the conclusion that...
Why? They took the picture of the face. That's what they did. That's why everybody comes to the conclusion. They took the picture of Jesus painting, that was painting black, that was not Jesus, and they took the blanket, and they put it... Listen, the picture with the blonde hair and the blue eyes.
But that's not what the shop turned.
But that's the one that they put together. That's the one they put together.
Arab people.
No, they did not. They showed that same fucking Jesus. Pull it up.
So the shot turn was
The shop turn is very ethnic looking.
But it's gonna show a white Jesus. I say Chinese people are white too, but the white people want to sell it. Right? Listen, I say that everything pale is white. Right? Everything that don't have hair is white, and everything that don't have hair is human. And it's different for me.
Is that right here?
Yeah, that's not Jesus.
I mean,
That's the fake Jesus.
but like, how does that align?
Because that's the fake. Look at the face. That's the fake one that's on everything. That's not Jesus. So how can you say that's your proof?
I'm seeing
Get the fuck out of
I'm
here.
seeing a Middle Eastern man.
But that's the listen.
That's not a white man. That's a there's.
Do me one favor.
Yeah.
Do me one favor, right? And I'm gonna say this. I'm not telling you that Jesus did not exist. So let's say everything that you learn from Jesus, accept it. It's real, right? But what you're trying to describe right now and suggest cannot be accurate. And you got to look at the
How can it
facts.
not be accurate?
Because that face, right, is a painted face. That is a painted face that do not describe the way it was written in the Bible. And if you describe the way it's written in the Bible and put it beside that face, you will have a difference.
So what is that? What is that from 2,000 years ago?
You got to tell me how he do it, right? It's not Jesus. Right? It's not Jesus.
It's been carbon dated. Yeah. It's right around the time of the resurrection.
It says 1260 to 1390 CE.
Listen, the point that doesn't look, that doesn't matter. All that y'all worry about the wrong shit. The only thing that matters is a different fucking face. That's all that matters.
Hey, let me ask you this.
What matters is the fucking face is different, gang. So listen, different from the
perception.
No difference for the perception of what they say and who they say is Jesus. When they put that there,
they altered the body. So the things that they altered to make him look a lot more Caucasian than he actually was. Because that man looks like an Arabic, Italian. He doesn't look like a white person.
I'm gonna say it again. White is white, no matter how you put it. But I'm saying that face. Listen, that face is the same painted face that everybody in the world know now was a fake picture. So that itself, who the fuck is that? Right? That's all I'm saying. And I'm saying this. You gotta understand this. The things that Jesus taught. Now, I don't want people to say, oh man, I believe in the things that Jesus taught, right? Jesus taught the kingdom of heaven within. Jesus said, what I do, all men can do, right? Jesus did not say, pray to me. Jesus didn't want to do shit for his mama.
Yeah.
Right? I'm keeping it real. So you have to understand this. So if you want Jesus, I'm going to take you to him. But the problem is, it's up your ass.
Jesus.
That's all about. Yeah, it's inside you. All right?
Well, it's in your the kingdom of God is within you. I don't know if
you ain't never heard the pastor? You ain't never heard the pastor? You ain't never heard the pastor? When Jesus came in me, that's all the pastor's talking about. Right. Jesus coming in him.
Your guy was
yeah. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord.
You're saying that he's a historical figure. He doesn't even really.
No, I'm saying this. Everything. Do me a favor. I can show you where everything is right now. Everything exists only one place. Even if you close your eyes, it's still there. Everything exists in your mind. Whatever you think it is, right? Jesus' consciousness is available to you, but only when you accept it and put it in you. When you take it and say, Jesus, help me, and you put it outward, it do no good for you, right? Because you're begging. I'm not begging for shit, right? Because you understand the universe don't work that way. Because like it doesn't matter if you pray 1,000,000 times, if you go outside and don't look both ways, you're gonna get hit by a car. Prayer won't stop that. Awareness will, right? So everybody is worrying about the wrong thing. Life is about awareness. It ain't about no fucking prayer. You can pray all you want, right? But the fact is, you have to be aware. And listen, if you want there to be Jesus in your mind, all I'm gonna tell you is follow him in.
I mean, I don't even care what Jesus looks like. I'm just saying, like,
follow him in. We can debate about what it looks like. Follow him.
Let me ask you this, because your friend was saying that this is not a real person, Jesus, right? Do you agree with that?
No, he said it's you. All right? Listen.
Did he physically exist 2,000 years ago is my question.
Did humans physically exist 2,000 years ago?
Yeah.
Then I suggest yes.
So you think there was a real Jesus?
I suggest that Jesus is consciousness. I suggest that everything is Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So do you think that there was a man that came, like, was crucified, came back to life 2,000 years ago? Do you believe in that?
I believe a lot of men died, right? I believe crucifixion was a thing that a lot of people did, and I believe that everybody died was a man. If you say that it was a man, and I believe that everybody had Jesus in them. Do you think
he came back to life? Do you think Jesus defeated death?
I think that everybody defeats death. I think nothing dies.
No. There's no who's defeated death. There's
everybody.
One figure that's
everybody. Listen, did you know they had defeated by they defeated death like this? So they was in a tomb each one time, and they saw a bug, and the bug had ate a plant, and it died, and it came back alive in 3 days. And then after they did that, they made the chemical out of that same shit, and then they died and came back up in 3 days. Hold up. They saw it. They recorded it. They saw it. He died, came back up. Listen, no, it was a female, it was a woman. She died, came back in 3 days, and she came back. She was enlightened. It was a resurrection, right? So resurrection happened before Jesus, right? Listen, it's good to die on purpose, right? I don't think you understand, gang. When you dream, you be in different reality, but when you die, it's kind of like different, right? But that's the thing. That's a sport. That's what people do. That's what you did to be enlightened. Right now, there's certain traditions and certain monks that you can't actually get unless you die, meaning that you actually that means that you take your soul out of your body and you're able to look at it. That means you're dead. It's several levels to this. And I don't think you understand. It's different levels of consciousness, right? And Jesus is a level of consciousness. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they harness the power of Jesus, right? And wherever Jesus go, the collection plate follow.
So that
and you paying for a subscription to Jesus. You paying for a subscription to Jesus, gang.
I don't know. That's a corruption.
It's a subscription.
Now, let me ask you this though. Like, why did we hear that this man had 12 disciples? We know he had disciples. We know the disciples traveled all around the Middle East and Near East. We know that, for example, St. Bartholomew landed around the Caucasus Mountains, right? The dude got skinned alive because he was a Christian. While he's getting skinned alive, this man is getting St. Bartholomew, one of the disciples of Jesus. So while this man is getting skinned alive, he's singing hymns to God. So to me, there's something supernatural about that. It ain't like some, person.
Who told you that?
Story. That's a real story.
Who told you that?
Look it up.
I said, who told you that?
I mean, I've read it in history books of Armenian
In what book?
descent.
In what book?
Of Armenian descent. This is a whole story
In
about
what-
how Armenia became Christian.
Okay, and what book did you read?
I mean, these are like manuscripts, Armenian manuscripts. You can look them up. You Google it. St. Bartholomew.
No, I'm not asking Google. I'm asking you. What book did you use?
These are Armenian manuscripts from old Armenian monks that were around. I mean, this is an ancient culture. So these people are around while this was going on. They have actual testimonials about the St. Bartholomew guy literally getting skinned alive.
Is every book fact?
I mean,
What makes a book fact?
I mean, we could use that standard on everything because we weren't there.
Well, you say what? Hold on. Go back. You do that standard on everything. You wasn't there 2,000 years ago. So why the fuck do it matter now?
I mean, what to me is like when you have 12 individuals that are ready to be killed and tortured in the most heinous ways. Like,
That's a lie. Jesus said before the clock crow twice, you will deny me 3 times, and they denied him. Nobody's ready to fucking die for Jesus. Right? The disciples were ready to die for Jesus. The disciples ran in here.
no, but then
They all ran in here.
But then the disciples went around
No,
preaching and they all got killed because they were preaching.
I know a lot of niggas that do it with a gunfire run off, they go back outside. Because when it was drama time, the motherfucker disciples that you call disciples, they ran. And Jesus knew that they was going to run. According to Jesus.
And he was resurrected.
Well,
that showed him that he
that's
defeated
what
death. That showed him that he defeated death. That was a conviction to die for their cause. And you don't die for nothing.
You ever heard of Gnostics?
Yeah, of course.
They got a different story of Jesus' resurrection and Jesus being killed. They said Jesus never died. Right? And listen, I'm just saying, I don't think you understand. So a lot of different stories, a lot of different things you can say, but I think the only thing that matters here today is you. Right? So I think we can all sit here and say, okay, Jesus has a good story. You think Jesus has a good story, just take him and put it in you. But nothing gonna help you unless you decide to take it right now and move that way right now.
I believe that. I mean, kingdom of God is with you.
Jesus never asked about the worship him, never asked about to pray for him, never asked none of that shit.
I agree with that.
Right? So I'm just saying, so when they do that, that's for separation and control. Right? The church do that for control, they do it for separation. I'm not saying you shouldn't believe in Jesus. Everybody should have belief, because belief is first. Believe what man thinks is true. But once you believe in Jesus and you truly believe in Jesus, you understand that that's a myth. Yeah. But that's not gonna stop you from understanding that the consciousness is here and that you can tap into it. That ain't gonna stop you from understanding that.
Could I segue real quickly?
Yeah, wrap it up.
The other prompt that I think ties in with this is, are we in prison planet? I think the answer to that is yes. I think Jesus was brought down almost like a Neo from the Matrix. I hate to give a pop culture reference to basically show us that this is all BS. Everything is all.
You know the problem is with Christians, Muslims, even with road sects out there, they all want to take bits and pieces of everything and try to justify what they believe, because that's what the brain do. See, what the brain do, the brain is going to put together every piece it can to prove you that what you think is correct. That's what your brain is programmed. Right? That's your brain itself. See, right now, he'll get information from everywhere. He's talking about Jesus is, but he's going to prove something from over here as a fact. But if you take that, take everything with it, and that's also going to prove that he didn't, but he did, but he didn't. So, I'm saying, but the Matrix, they talk about the movie, so they're gonna put Jesus in the movie. So if you can put Jesus in the movie, then Jesus in the movie gotta be the same.
No,
right? How can you do it?
The whole point of the Bible is that we're in the Satan's playing ground. That's what the Bible says. We're in Satan's playing ground. So when you look at something like the Matrix and it's telling you how everything's a fabrication, everything's made to corrupt, everything's made to steal rules. And you look at our Federal Reserve, that's what that is. That is a complex plan to basically make us all.
So the plan.
And when Jesus came and he told us, look, man, this is all matrix.
Hold up, go back. He said the plan here is to make us all slaves.
Yeah.
So everything here is to make us a slave.
Yeah, 100%.
How did you hear about Jesus?
What do you mean, how do I hear?
How did you hear about it?
Well,
Yeah. How did you hear about it?
I mean, through family tradition.
How did they hear about it?
My grandma.
From here.
Yeah.
From the prison.
From prison. Yeah.
Because everything inside prison is the prison.
Because the human.
You said, you said that it's a prison.
Yeah.
Right? And you said that you heard something from a prison. So you just said everything that you said and agreed with everything I said. So why you not sitting over here with me? Come over, sit on my lap.
I agree with you, Jay, except I think Jesus was a real person. I think Jesus was a Neo that came here to teach us that this is all BS, to tell us that the kingdom of God is within us, to break down these walls that humans create to cause constant friction, and that's why it's
Well, that's crazy because I'm Jesus. You didn't know that.
Yeah.
You sit across from Jesus. I'm keeping it real.
Yeah.
Right? Because people don't understand that. Now, I can
some water with the wine.
I'm saying, actually, in the hood, what I do is some water and take the soda. Right? That's in the hood, what I do. No, for real. Listen, when I'm in the hood, I'm known for creating miracles. Nigga, I'm Jesus in the hood, right? No, nigga, I can turn one fish to 500 too, nigga. I'm keeping it real. I'm keeping it real. Everything Jesus did, I can do. But listen, I'm a fisherman of men now. It's a difference. But I can survive. I can survive everything. I can do miracles. I can do all the things that Jesus did. It's nothing that Jesus did that I couldn't do. Right? But I'm telling you. But you possess the same power, but you want to keep on giving the power to Jesus, so be it then.
No, that's how I think the kingdom of God is within us, but I think these bodies are not.
So why does it matter?
Because we can't ever become like Jesus. We just can't.
That's a lie. So listen, how can you say believe Jesus? Jesus said, well, I do all men can do.
He was already on behind the
If he listen, Jesus said,
I probably screwed up.
Jesus said what's sin lie at, right? I can prove to everybody. Everybody said Jesus didn't sin. I can prove to everybody Jesus said. What Jesus tell you to sin lie at? Jesus described you what a sin lie at. Jesus said the sin lie in what? The thought, right? Jesus was tested by who? The devil with bad thoughts, right? That was sinning. Jesus was a sinner too, right? Because Jesus described you what a sin was. He said after the thought. The moment he was tempted by the devil, he was sick.
Okay.
Yeah, he was sick.
He wasn't tempted though. He was
tempted. He told him to do it. He knew that it was there. The moment that you know that it's there, you know that the sin there, you know that it's there, it's in your mind, then you're doing it. Because that's what Jesus suggested. And he said, throw the first rock. Right? So you got because no one without sin not he documented this.
Man, I don't know if I have one. I just think Jesus was a real Jesus.
Jesus was a real sinner like all the rest of them.
These were other you've heard other Jesus-like characters. I've heard about in ancient Egypt how there was. I still don't think that negates the fact that Jesus was. And I do believe that the Shaka Trend said.
Let's do me a favor.
This particular topic, you can't deny it.
All right. Do me a favor. Go run to the church that Jesus sinned too. Because he told the church what a sin was, so he done it too, right? And what he do, all men can do. So just like he can sin, he can be saved, you can be born again. So fuck what Jesus said. I just asked for you to be born again, niggas.
All right. If you learned anything from this episode or got any value at all, please share this episode with a friend. It helps us grow the channel, it helps us grow the podcast. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much. First ladies on the show on the 1 on 10 series. Thank you for coming, being brave. You wanted to do the first prompt?
I did.
Okay. The Prison Planet one?
I did.
Are you cool with that?
Oh yeah, I'll do it all. And then I wanted to talk about Jesus being serpent in the garden.
Yeah, bring that up. Okay. Go ahead and start it off.
So the first prompt is that Earth is a prison planet. And
and you disagree with that. Yeah. Why do you disagree with that?
Well, I've never been to prison, but...
Could you speak louder too?
Yes, absolutely. So I've never been to prison, but as I understand, you must be sentenced for a crime. So I would want to know, if this is a prison planet, what is the crime that we're sent here?
Well, like Anka explained it, it's not always that you're having crime, but you do know that the Bible, because you're a Christian, right?
I am.
The Bible tells you that you're born in sin.
We are.
So to ask me what is the sin, you should already know. But I don't subscribe to that. Just if we're going to stick in the Bible says that you already are a sinner when you're born.
Yes, that's why we.
And the Bible tells you that. So You answer that question. What is your original sin?
Well, the original sin came from Adam when Adam and Eve disobeyed God.
To be honest, I'm glad you brought that up because Adam and Eve never disobeyed God.
I understand that's what you think.
They disobeyed Elohim. That was not God. That was a council of gods or spirits.
And that's fair and that's fine. You can call him whatever you want to call him.
So you agree that wasn't God?
I don't agree. What I'm saying,
so can you prove that wasn't God? Because I can't.
I can't prove it, and neither can you.
Oh yes, I can actually. In the Hebrew, Elohim is plural for gods. That means there's more than one. That leads toward my position that it is a council, not just one. So I prove it that way, and I can also prove that God isn't supposed to lie, but the Elohim did lie in Genesis 3. Actually, in the Genesis 3, they said, "Don't eat the fruit, and if you eat it, you'll die."
Right.
Adam and Eve didn't die when they ate it. So God can't lie. So
They didn't die immediately, but they did die eventually.
So do you know in the scripture that it actually says, in the day you eat it, in the moment you eat it? Do I read that too?
No, I think your voice is loud enough.
My voice, I'm an orator. So loud, you could use that. But anyway, the Bible says, when you eat it, in the moment you eat it, that's the scripture, you will die. Not later. It doesn't say, Christians have been taught that. So you can understand and cope with the lie that's been told to you, that the serpent is evil. So it says you'll die immediately. And at the end of that chapter, the Elohim turn to each other. You know what they say?
No.
Oh, wow, they ate it. Now they're going to be like us. Wait, I thought you said they're going to die. Now they're going to be like you gods. So really, you just told them you didn't want them to eat it because you didn't want them to be gods.
Well, I believe that God created us in his image, and he said when he created male and female, it was to reflect him. We can debate this all day. I don't think you can prove it, nor can I prove it, because neither of us were there, and that's why it's
Well, wait a minute. I thought you believed in the Bible.
I do. May I finish?
Oh.
Okay, that's why it's called faith. And I had the same questions when I was coming up. If we had all of the answers, we wouldn't need to believe. All of us choose what our faith is. I do believe in the Bible. I do have questions about the Bible. I respect that there were faiths before Jesus came, but for me and for my house and for what works for me, I believe to follow Christ. Yes, there are discrepancies. Yes, there are things that are painful to read, especially in the Old Testament, but it doesn't mean that for me, it's not true.
Okay, well, you went into a lot of your beliefs,
but that's what faith is.
Yeah, I don't want to go into faith. I want to talk about the Bible.
I'm not a Bible scholar.
Okay, then you agree that the Elohim were not God.
I never said that. I said I believe in the God of the Bible. I understand that you have facts that you really want to prove, but we could do this all day and all night. For me, the life that we are given, the time that we are here on this earth, is to make it better, to use the gifts and talents that we were given. Whatever you believe is to leave this place better than you found it. For me, I promote marriage and family, and I think that's what's a priority. I believe God told us to go forth and multiply and to take dominion of the earth, and to use the resources that he's given us to make it better. So you can spend your life debating biblical facts, and that's totally fine. I choose to do otherwise.
Okay, well, I'm here to actually debate and tell the truth. So let me get back to the prison planet thing.
Okay.
You, on one hand, say you don't think it's a prison planet, right? Because you said you need a sentence to get into prison.
As I understand it, when you go to prison, you are convicted of a crime, and you are sending of your time.
Original sin.
Yes, the original sin. But when God first created the earth and he created Adam and Eve and humans, he said it was beautiful and he was pleased with his creation. After our choice of sin, then we now have the sin and the consequences that come from that. But we were not born with sin.
So you don't agree with the Bible?
I do agree with the Bible. Yes, I have questions about certain things, but I don't believe that I don't believe the earth is a prison. I believe that the life that we have and the earth is what you make of it. You can choose to live a miserable life. You can be in prison in your mind. I choose to look at the blessings that we have, the bountiful goodness that we have, the forgiveness that we have, the grace that we have, the beauty all around us. I really think it's up to you to decide, and that's what I choose.
Do you think atheists don't look at the beauty and look at
No, absolutely. As far as I know, and I'm not.
So it's not exclusive to Christians?
Absolutely not. And I said that. I know that there are several faiths that came before Jesus was here, and I respect everybody else's faith. As I understand it, I'm not a religious scholar, but atheists don't believe in the God of the Bible. But you can look at the majesty all around you. You can look at the ocean. You can look at the mountains. You can look at a beautiful flower, colors, and you can appreciate that beauty.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, this isn't really, if you don't debate and you're telling me about all these beautiful things, maybe you're not the person I should be talking to, because I want to speak to someone who actually would be able to dispute the information that I'm presenting. You're not really disputing anything that I'm saying.
I'm not trying to convince you. That's why it's
that's great. I
choice.
love you for that. I would like to speak to someone who wants to dispute the facts that I'm bringing out. If there's anybody else who can.
Do you want to make a final statement?
Yeah, my final statement is that I believe in the God of the Bible. I am a Christian. It is a choice. It is faith. We don't have all the answers, but I believe in promoting marriage and family, and that's why I'm here. And I believe that's what we're supposed to do.
That's awesome.
Okay,
Is there any Christian here that believes that Jesus is not the serpent in the garden of Genesis 3? Well, you're not debating me though. You're being super sweet and like telling me about your feelings about babies and puppies. I want to talk to someone about who will say, yeah, Jesus, do you know Jesus? I wanted to talk about Jesus being the serpent in the garden.
We can have the conversation,
So did Christ lie at all, ever?
No, the word says that Christ was sinless, and that is why he took on our sins. If you believe, I understand that you don't.
I do. Actually, I do. I
Okay.
believe that Jesus is the serpent in the garden. I believe that Jesus is the historicity of Christ. But I know that there are lies being told to you, so you can believe otherwise. Why would a serpent be evil? How can a serpent even talk?
I believe in the polarity. For good, there's evil. For up, there's down. For bad, there's good. All right? I don't believe that Jesus is the serpent. The serpent is Satan. Maybe it's a representation. Maybe it's not Satan incarnate, but it is a representation of evil to tempt the woman who then disobeyed God. I do believe that actually
Let
happened.
me explain.
I'm sorry?
Explain this to you.
You can't disobey God.
I disagree.
You can't disobey anything. You are beautiful, right?
Well, thank you. I'm not perfect.
How you say God, right? And God was masculine energy. Feminine is just energy just existed just because God was there. He was always there. You are the wisdom, right? You are the light of the world. Everything comes from you. But this one thing they did with history, they removed you. Right now, everybody that was taught, everybody watching this right now was taught by a woman, right? But in every book, it's a man that's doing the teaching and the telling. So you're defending man history. She's trying to tell you about yours, right? Because what's inside of you is something way more special than that story, right? They even track organs around. They do it the wrong way. They track it by men, but men have between treasure. They have gave you their name because to track true organs, they got to track it from a woman. Because if I have sex with a woman, you don't know that's my baby, but you know that baby came from that woman.
I disagree with you. Yes, I have 2 sons. That is true. But what if I choose to give my name to my husband?
We know the baby. I'm telling you about how to track. We know for a fact it came to me right now. Back origins right now from the woman DNA, not the man.
I understand that. However, I am pro-masculine and feminine. I don't believe that women are better.
Well,
I think
woman. That's the connection of both, right? That's the connection of the masculine and the feminine.
right.
That's the true essence of what we are.
Yes, but you said that women are divine and we're perfect.
What we are.
I disagree.
I did this.
Do you think that women are divine and perfect?
Yes, ma'am. I disagree.
But you think that Jesus is divine and perfect as a man?
I believe Jesus is divine and perfect because he was the Son of God, not because he was a man.
You know, the woman was the first existence. The feminine was the first existence.
I disagree.
Okay, well, you're a woman.
Yes.
You disagree? Did Adam? Did it say in the Bible that Adam didn't have a belly button?
I don't think that's in the Bible.
Did it say it? Did it say it?
It did not say
Okay,
that.
wait. If it didn't say that, then that's how you know that Adam came from a woman, because everything came from a woman got a belly button.
I disagree.
And listen, you don't agree with everything. Everybody right now that came here to show you one of these.
I understand that.
Everybody can show you one of these.
Please don't shout.
Right?
I understand, however.
Right? Everybody got one of those. So listen. So if Adam had he came from woman, everything came from you. And you are beautiful. Well, find one thing in his existence right now that we can see that didn't come out of woman. Anything in nature.
Men are here to
name one thing in nature
in
history right now that didn't come out of female. Name one thing here now.
Creation. This is taken.
No. Name one thing here now that didn't come out of female.
I'm not sure if I'm understanding.
Name one thing now that did not come out of a female.
Oh, well,
of course, what?
Didn't come out of a woman.
Of course.
Okay, now name one animal that was born.
Of
that
course.
Come out of woman. Hold on. So woman and brought everything into existence.
With the man's seed. If I
No, women can do it without a man's seed. Look, Jesus was born. Jesus was born out of man's seed. You just said, hold up. You said, hold up. The Holy Spirit was the man. The Holy Spirit was the man because it entered Mary.
Yeah.
Right? Hold up. It entered Mary.
Yeah.
Right? The entered means something. Right? I don't think you get it. Right? But you got to understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to take something away from you, but I'm telling you that you are everything. Nothing exists without you.
I think that's the problem that we have now is telling women that they're everything. That's why
No, men ain't doing that. Men telling women that everything based on attachment, based on your need. I'm telling you so you can be free. I don't want to be attached to you.
I am
Matter of fact, when you leave, I'm not going to think of you again.
I understand that, and I will remember you. I don't even know who you are.
No, you do know. You know, say you don't know who I am right now. I guarantee you, my voice going to be stuck with you forever, and I guarantee you, you invented my voice.
I didn't invent anything.
All right, close your eyes right now. Now, I'm going to say something. I'm going to say, I love you, right?
No,
now,
you don't.
listen,
You don't even know.
I'm going to say I love you, right?
Okay.
Now, hear that same thing I just said.
Ooh,
of course, I can
boy.
hear it.
Can you hear it?
Yes.
In my voice.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, okay. Listen, so, where did my voice come from? It came from you.
No,
Hold up. You just said you heard it in your own head. And everything exists in your head. Everything out here comes from your head.
No,
so everything
you're
exists
wrong.
in you.
You're wrong.
Name one thing out here that come from your head.
Okay.
Name one thing out here that wasn't a thought.
Would you like me
Name one thing that's not a thought.
Would you like me to
Name
answer?
one thing that's not a thought, and I'll be done.
Okay, this table.
Is it a thought?
It started as a thought.
Okay. So the thought is the cause of it all. Listen, and inside, let me tell you something else.
Okay.
It's inside of thought.
Yeah.
That's where you find protection, right? Because right now,
I disagree. People think imperfect things all the time.
Think about a circle in your mind. Think of a square in your mind. Think of a triangle in your mind. Think of building a building in your mind. Anything you think in your mind, you can do it perfectly, right?
Well,
you can do it perfectly. Perfection exists inside of you, right? And so what I'm trying to tell you is that the moment you put it out here, it becomes a problem. But inside of you, perfection exists, right? And I just want to say that. I just want to say that to a beautiful woman. That
well, thank you for the.
You should understand that.
I think that's interesting that you think I'm too sweet and you don't want to be here.
Used to people who are not as nice and sweet as you.
I think that's a problem.
Good.
That is a good thing. If I may just respond to what Mr. said, as far as creation, I just want to say, because I believe in the Bible, and again, because it is a choice, and because it is faith, God created the first man and the first woman and the first of each species.
I just asked you, God created the first man, did it have a belly button? If it had a belly button, then God didn't create it, it came out of woman.
Okay, I don't know neither do you.
I do know.
You saw Adam's belly.
Listen, because that'd be something that they would have to tell you. That would be something
No, they don't.
They describe what Jesus was like. They describe everything else. That would be something that they have
But
to
every
describe.
church that you go to has a different representation of Jesus.
Well, science has got another thing happening. Did you drive into a baby? Right now, you're a woman. But
I am.
Did you know in about 4 weeks, that was inside your belly is actually a fish?
Excuse me.
Well,
listen, the eyes on the side of the head like this.
I understand what you're
inside
saying.
of water, right?
I understand.
Whoa. It's inside of water, right?
But it's not a
Listen, and everything on earth right now started from a fish, but it's a jawless fish.
I disagree.
It was a jawless fish. Everything started from a jawless fish.
We disagree.
I can disagree. You AI gonna say that shit, right? Because this shit the fucking truth. Right? It's called.
Please,
it's science.
No, I
It's
understand.
science.
I understand that evolution.
What we're talking about is, okay,
Actually, you're a very nice lady.
Thank you. I teach femininity.
Oh, you teach femininity?
I do.
How can you? Why do you have to teach femininity?
Because they lost it today.
How did they lose it?
Because they're trying to compete with men as men, and we've lost our
Do you
femininity.
think femininity is just talking like this?
Absolutely not. That's not me at all.
No. When you say
Well, then why the fuck you talking like that
you're
then?
African.
I am.
They're fierce African warrior.
Absolutely, but they're still feminine.
How are they feminine when they're slicing people's heads off, ripping them apart?
You know what?
You're saying you teach femininity.
I
I'm going
do.
to gamble and say that you teach them not to do those things.
Well, people do what they have to do in the time that they live to survive. There was a time when we had to grow our own crops and slaughter our animals. We don't do that
So they don't
anymore.
have to survive today.
I didn't say that. When I said that,
You said women lost it today.
I said women lost their femininity. Please don't speak for me.
Well, no, you said women lost their femininity today, and I said you're from Africa.
I am.
Warriors.
Women were
They had to do it back then.
not
But
only.
today you said they don't have to do it now. They don't have to survive. Women.
What I said is we all did what we had to survive in the time
And they
that we
would
were
do that
living.
today.
If I may finish.
No, you can't finish. I'm asking you, do they do it today?
Yes,
So you teach femininity.
I
do you
do.
teach women that they should be sweet and kind or be warriors?
I teach women that they shouldn't be men.
Wait a minute. Do you teach them to be sweet and kind or do you teach them to be warriors?
If you want to
If a
be,
woman fights a man,
I wasn't
no, I'm going
finished.
to ask you.
Okay.
Because
You asked me
I
what
feel like this nicest from you.
yeah,
When a
I'm
woman
struggling
when
that
a woman
you're
is
bothered by
fighting,
it.
because you said you teach femininity.
I
When
do.
a woman is fighting,
Women
do you
should
say
fight.
that's manly or
It
you say
is. It's
so
very
if
masculine.
it's manly,
It
they
is.
are warriors today,
Yes.
and they don't have to survive today, but in the past when they were warriors, it's okay.
Okay, if I may answer you, again, we all do what we have to do to survive. There was a time when we had to grow our own crops and slaughter our own animals. I don't know if you're a mother, I'll speak for myself.
I'm
I have
talking about
two boys.
warriors, not farmers, not husbandry.
If
I'm
I
talking
may,
about warriors.
if I may answer,
Sure, answer, please. I'm waiting.
I consider
Been
myself a
waiting.
very kind and nonviolent person. However, cross me about my boys, it'll be a very different story. So if you're in
What will you do?
whatever I have to, not in that
So
moment,
it's masculine to fight.
absolutely.
No, so women can't fight.
I never said that. I never said that.
You did. You
There
said
were
it's
women.
masculine to fight.
It is masculine to
So
fight.
women can't fight over the men.
You can be a woman and have masculine moments. I'll give you an example. I'm a boy mom. There are times that I have to say, hey, get over
So
here.
you're manly.
In that moment, yes. But
So
when
why
I'm
do you
with,
teach you femininity if you're manly?
because my man
So
will
you
not
can be manly when you need to,
and
the
so
women who are
can you.
manly, they can't.
No, absolutely. What I'm saying is the women who come to me want to be in a relationship with a masculine man. A masculine man requires a feminine woman, full stop. All right? So if you want to be with a masculine man, oftentimes women today do not realize how masculine they have become. I'll give you another real world example. I'm a former executive. When you have to lead people and manage budgets and do all these things with millions, you take on that masculine energy and you don't know sometimes how to turn it off and be nice and sweet when you're in a nurturing mode, when you're with your husband.
Who's the governor of that? Who decides? You? Because you're a femininity coach. So you decide that when women are ready to be manly, they can be manly. You're calling it man. You call it manly to be assertive. You call it manly.
It is.
See. So you can decide because you're
For me,
but you're. There are so many women. There's and not every people.
and not everybody is my
So
student.
how do you get to be an authority on who's feminine and who's not?
I'm not the authority
You
for
just said you're a
everyone.
femininity coach.
I am. When women come to
You're not
me,
an authority. So I
because
can
they-
listen to you.
no, you shouldn't.
Okay,
Because they
no,
want what I
no,
have.
listen to you.
No.
Thank you. She said it.
No.
So
I
you're
said
not, so
you-
you don't know anything about femininity because femininity isn't being nice and sweet. And guess what? Femininity is about fighting because
I disagree.
guess what? Females, lions, fight to the death while the male sits back. Women and mothers, like you said, fight for their children. You said it's manly to fight.
It
So you're
is.
not. Which one is it?
Nobody is feminine 100% of the time, and if a man
Exactly.
if a man loses a family member and he is heartbroken and crying, that is not a masculine moment. That is
I think we need to redefine all of. We need to redefine that crying is not being masculine. We need to redefine that being fighting is not being feminine. That's the problem.
You can
do
do- you can define it however you want to. All I'm saying is there is a natural
So
biology.
is it
Wow, you
wrong?
really
No,
interrupting
for
this.
your. Is it wrong for your sons to cry if
Absolutely
their
not.
turtle dies? And
Absolutely
if
not.
is it wrong if your son gets hit by another person and he cries and they say you're a sissy?
That's
By
absolutely
your
wrong.
standards, he's being feminine crying.
If he's a boy, that's expected. If he's a man, absolutely not.
So if a man gets punched in the face,
He's gonna punch you back.
So wait, men can't cry?
I never said that.
Yes, you
Are you
did.
listening?
You
No.
said it.
I said we are not masculine 100% of the time,
Yeah.
and we are not feminine 100% of the time. Whatever outcome the woman wants, the women that come to me because you said I shouldn't be the authority, I am not the authority. I am just a mom on the internet.
Right.
But women come to me because they want what I have. They see something in me that they do not see in somebody like you. And they say, you know what, Maggie, I would love to have a relationship like yours. I would love to be able to communicate like you. I would like to be able to keep my composure like you. I would love to be able to have respective men that do not know me. How can I do that? I see
Give them everything you got. It's the only way you can do it. Because no matter what you do, hold up, you just said they come to you and they say, look, everything that you got. So if you want to help them, give them everything that you got.
I do.
Hold up, no, give them everything. You should have nothing left for yourself.
No, that's not
So
true.
you have to give them everything. If they like everything that you like, if I like your shirt and you
Yes.
give me your shirt, you have no other shirt.
Right.
Right? If you give me your shirt right now, you be shirtless.
That is true.
So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that you are fighting for things. And listen, I said to talk to you, beautiful. I love you. I love the things you say. I'm gonna say this. I cry all the time. I cry before I started.
You're not
this,
just, you're not
right?
feminist.
But I'm masculine and femininity. They exist together,
Yes, it's called polarity. We do agree.
right?
Yes.
But I don't want a woman. A lot of men want a submissive woman. I don't want a submissive woman. I don't
Because you're not a masculine
I don't
man.
Oh, listen. Let me tell you this. I'm something that you probably don't understand, right? A masculine man is going to tell you what to do. They're going to attach you. They're going to try to hold you down. Listen to me. Hold up. Listen to me. I exist in both. I'm both masculine and feminine, right? Because I understand the duality of both. I understand that my mind have a left and a right side. I activate them both, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna say this. I'm not here to tell you what you should do, right? I'm not going to define what's masculinity to you and what it's not. But I don't want a submissive woman, because once you tell a woman to submit to you, that's me telling the woman that I'm above her. I'm not above no woman. Hold up. If that's the case, when a child come out, then the mother should automatically submit to the child if the child is a male. Hold up, because you're suggesting that I am above you, right? That
My
you
man is.
hold up. Listen, I'm gonna say this. You're in prison. And listen, I'm gonna say this.
I'm happy.
Listen to me. You're in prison.
I'm
You're
not.
mad. It's fine what you do, and that's a life that you shouldn't want to live.
You're
right?
wrong.
Because you have been programmed to believe that submitting is something that you want to do, but in
I
reality, in your
disagree
mind,
with you.
right now, what you doing right now? You're wearing what they call a mask. Right now, you're doing this.
Yeah.
This is
Then
what you-
who's the real
listen,
me?
I could just ask your husband. He'll tell you when you're mad. Yeah! That's what you do. And that's who the fuck you is. And you want to sit around like that's not who the fuck you is. Shut the fuck up talking when I'm talking. Don't you fucking talk again. Why the fuck are you talking?
No,
Why are you talking?
because
Shut
I
the fuck
can't.
up.
Are you going to be disrespectful? I was respectful to you.
There you go. It's not about respect. It's the fact that you
But did I answer
still
you?
holding it. No, you still holding it. I just
Because
said
it's called
you should set
composure.
up yourself. No.
No.
You should set up yourself. No.
No.
You're bottling it in. When you leave, what you gonna say? That motherfucker in there yelling at me. He's doing all this shit.
I
You're
don't
gonna
have
be
to say. I don't have to say it because you made
You made a great point.
you made
You're not being yourself.
you don't know me.
No,
You don't know me
I
at
know you're a
all.
human being, and I know that the way you're reacting to someone doing that is not natural.
It's called composure.
No, it's called you're being. You're man. Who is shaking? Oh, she's shaking. I'm sorry that.
not like this. You're angry.
I am not angry because I don't respect you. I don't respect you.
No, you respect. You can't get respect. Listen,
You can shout at me, but I don't even know you. You shouted at me and you slammed the table.
You said you disrespect me.
How did I just? Oh yeah, I said you're not a masculine man. Yeah, that's
You
true.
mean that you said with disrespect, but you,
Yeah.
listen, everything I said to you was polite, was giving you.
You did.
nothing but love, right? But the moment I said something you didn't like, you're gonna say disrespect, but you never acknowledged when I said something good to you.
But you said
You
you.
never acknowledged it.
No, no.
Hold up, stop.
I said they.
Hold up. You never acknowledged when I said something good to you. But the moment I say something you don't like, you acknowledge that. But that's how people is in the world. They acknowledge what's bad. They never acknowledge what they figure is good.
Okay, may I speak?
Why should I allow you to speak when you won't even accept my kindness?
I did. When you gave me the compliment, I said thank you. But you told me you loved me, and I said you don't even know me.
Find love. Love is both. Listen, I'm saying this. You don't think you know love. I don't know. I know you don't know love because love is love.
I am so loved.
Because if you were so loved, then everybody you love, you never was mad at.
That's not true.
So love is
mad is an emotion.
So love exists and all the emotions exist inside love. So you can't determine whether I love you or not.
I would
disagree.
You can't determine that. If I may speak, I think when you love somebody, you're actually madder at them than someone you don't love. Take your children, right? If your children disobey you, if you see a kid acting out in the store, falling out, you're like, well, there they go. But if you see your kid misbehaving, you're even angrier because you want a better outcome for them. Because
if I see my kid fall, I'm not gonna think that. You're trying to
make that's fair.
Your reality. This is what I'm saying. Love is unconditional. No matter what you do to me.
I disagree.
No matter what you do to me, no matter what I do to you, love is
Bible?
That's true love.
Yeah.
That's true love.
Yeah.
Right? Fake love becomes
How do you believe in the Bible if you don't believe?
Love. You do this, I do this, right? That's fake. Real love exists inside of everything if it's real love.
I agree, but I do think it has to be earned, and I think it has to be maintained.
I ain't earned no love from nobody.
That's fine.
Because it's like, once you got earned, you're going to have to continue earning it.
You don't have to earn love when it comes out of your womb.
For children, it's different. However,
standard. You see how you have different.
No, but well, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. I was just gonna say this. I focus on relationships, children aside, right? Because they come how they come, right? That's just again my faith, the purity of a baby being born. Let's talk about relationships because that's something that I'm passionate about. I can love my man, but if he doesn't continue to do the things that make me love him, that love is going to fade. We have to. That's why it's called keeping the home fires burning. I think as women, that is our responsibility. That's part of our nurturing. A relationship is not just going to be beautiful and bright just because I told you one time that I love you. If I'm not doing those loving things, you're going to feel slighted from me. And over time, that love will fade. How many times have we heard people say we fell out of love or it's just not there anymore because we didn't put the work in to maintain it?
They never loved you in the first place. Because you said, listen.
I disagree.
If you let I'm saying.
Okay.
If you love somebody,
yes,
love never leaves.
That's true.
The moment it leaves, it never was love. So I'm gonna say this, right?
Okay.
People confuse love with attachments, meaning that if you sit here and do everything I tell you to do, then I can give you my love. But the moment you leave, that love disappears. The moment you disobey me, that love disappears. So that, I believe, is not love. The true love that you said, that we both agree on, all of us, that when the baby came in, they got that love.
That's
so
true.
I say that when you love somebody, it should be that love.
Well,
and if it's not that love, then it's not love at all.
That's fair. I agree with you. And even the Bible that neither of you agree with has different...
I never said I agree with the Bible.
Okay, my mistake then.
I agree.
I believe it's Greek, and I'm not a Bible scholar, but I believe it's Greek that has different words for different types of love, right? Right.
Okay,
So
there's agape love,
right,
and then we have philo love,
right, brotherly.
So this is the thing I'm trying to understand with you.
Okay,
you do femininity coaching?
Yes.
You say, well, if my husband keeps on doing everything fine, that's great, but if he stops loving me, do you stop submitting? Or what do? You just go and start internalizing everything?
I think submission is a choice. What I'm saying is that when you love someone, when you're in a relationship, you have to nurture that. Take any relationship. We'll put love relationships to the side. You can't be a good employee and not show up. You can't be a good mother, sister, friend. You have to continue to do the things that bring that relationship closer. So yes, if your husband stops doing the things, if your wife stops sleeping with you.
I'm going to go back to the mother thing.
She watching this. I haven't slept with her about 13 months to this day. She's still third woman I leave. This is true.
I believe you.
Oh, I know.
This is true. This is true.
I believe you.
I'm saying this was a choice that I made.
I understand.
The choice that I made don't say I don't love someone that I want to stick my dick in.
Can you speak to me without swearing?
Here's the thing, right? I could speak to you without swearing if you could speak to me as you.
I don't know what you mean by that.
You, before you decided to become a femininity coach and decided that you knew.
Oh, I never said I know everything. I took my own courses.
Like you was before you started speaking like that.
Well, that cost me my marriage. Here's the
And
thing.
it cost your marriage. Your husband left you because he didn't see who you was. Listen, I'm telling you, if you lost, you never lost shit, right? Because you are home. I'm sorry, I don't want to cuss when you say don't cuss. But I'm saying this: you're beautiful. You never lost nothing. Nothing cost you nothing.
But how do you know if you weren't there?
You are beautiful. Listen, because everything that I'm saying is anything that comes with beautiful. Yes, you probably make mistakes. Everything makes mistakes, but if somebody
No, I'm a sinner. I'm a hopeless sinner.
no, you're not. You're not. Sinner is a sine wave. You were born in a wave of energy, right? The words have been changed and things are different.
I have made mistakes.
You're submitting to God, you're submitting to a man, you living your life submitting.
And I am so happy because men are leaders. Yes.
You sat down, you said, why are we in a prison if we didn't do any crime? But
Right.
you were meant to be a sinner.
Right.
And sin is a crime. So that's why you're in a prison planet.
Well,
You want to go by that.
okay.
Being in a prison planet isn't just about sin, though.
I'm telling
There's
you.
nothing inside of He said there's nothing inside of that body.
Oh, my doctor would beg to disagree, but okay.
I mean, if you're not a Bible scholar, I'm usually, wanting to talk to people who know a little bit more about the language and the actual Bible.
But how is that helping you? Debating?
Oh, it helps a lot because I uncover the esoteric of the Bible. People have been taught that Jesus is a serpent, that the serpent's evil. When you tell people, no, the serpent is evil,
I never said that. Oh, you're talking about yourself.
Programs.
Okay.
The programs that tell you that you have to keep sitting here and talking like this.
Would you believe
it too? Because the Bible tells you you're supposed to submit. You're weaker. You're lower. You do what men say. So if you knew that there were certain things in the Bible that programmed your mind to not be naturally yourself, I would have helped. So we showed people that Jesus is the serpent in the garden. Genesis 3 helps people say, oh, I'm breaking it. Just like in the Matrix. Once you saw that one thing, Neo started breaking the program.
I disagree with you. What would actually be helpful?
Say you disagree with me.
Well, what would be helpful?
Give me a reason why you disagree. Wait, why do you disagree? Why do you disagree?
What would be helpful is if you didn't mock me. All right.
I'm mocking you.
When you
You're
try
passive aggressive.
No, I'm being honest with you. Okay, you can believe whatever you want to.
I don't know how I ever mocked you. Go ahead.
When you
I'm trying to be super nice with you because you seem very sweet.
I am. Here's the thing. I think you're projecting because
Now I'm projecting.
yeah. If I may finish.
Sure.
When this man yelled at me and I did not react in kind, you could not believe that because you could not see yourself being shouted at and maintaining your composure. So when you look at me doing that,
Now you're projecting.
okay, you are telling me that I'm not my true self because I'm feminine, because I'm sweet. Would you believe that I'm happier this way? When I was a boss babe,
I know femininity. You're not being feminine.
I would ask the masculine.
You're being a
Oh,
robot.
sorry.
And you're pretending. You're a pretender.
Okay.
Because you've been taught femininity is talking like this.
You're
and
wrong.
wearing pearls.
You're
and
wrong.
saying, I am not going to do that.
You're wrong.
That's not feminine. Feminine is
Femininity is supporting.
Let me get this out.
Okay.
You've had a child.
Yes.
2 children.
Yes.
That's one of the most painful experiences in life.
And beautiful.
We just can't get work together.
Okay.
It's beautiful, but guess what? It's fierce. It's violence.
Yes.
It's pain.
Yes.
There's blood.
And it's in the Bible.
Say, that's not feminine.
I never said that.
I'm just gonna lay here and have this.
Didn't I just say that?
Having a contraction. I'm fine. Though.
I don't remember you being there.
You're not feminine. But you said we need to focus on what is feminine. Feminine is the beginning. It's the fierceness. It's the darkness.
I think you're talking about being a feminist.
It's the darkness.
Only if I may respond.
You will.
Okay.
It's the darkness in the water. Life, it's not just the womb. We can look at the microcosm of the womb, the waters of the womb. I know you're confused. That's why you're looking around. Listen to me, though. I'm here with you. I love you, or do, because I want you to know the womb is the darkness of the water. Life began in the darkness of the water. Your Bible says life began in darkness. That's the water. That's not sitting here and going, it's scary.
Don't mock me.
No, I have to. It's scary.
No, you don't. You can make your
know.
point without
It's a
disrespecting.
very volatile, chaotic.
Why are you so scared?
No, I'm trying to tell you it's feminine. Feminine is that.
Okay.
That is the core of femininity.
I disagree.
Femininity isn't, I'm just gonna meet out. No. Femininity is roaring. That roaring that he did,
I
that's
disagree.
his feminine side.
No, that's an emotional man having an outburst.
My friend, the part that you're hearing when a woman is giving birth, she's yelling.
Absolutely, I was there.
So you equate that with masculine.
No, that's not what I said at all.
Yeah, having masculine.
Okay, I'll make later finish.
Yes, I need you to. I need you not to just listen to.
You said, hold on, your real voice came. Please do it again. Your real voice just came out and we all heard it.
I'm waiting to.
No, I've been waiting for that voice for a long time. I finally heard you. I love you. And y'all never cuss again.
Thank you.
I heard you. I've been here trying to figure out who you was, and I heard that voice.
Okay.
Only for a quick turn.
Okay, but here's the thing. I said in the very beginning, there are times when
that voice.
I'm sorry, I missed it. But what I'm saying.
Because you missed it because you have bottled you up.
No.
Right? Because you bottled you up. That voice just came outside of you. That's you.
How about this? Have you ever gotten feedback that someone didn't like something and you wanted to be better for that someone, and so you improved yourself?
You can't prove it. That's what I'm saying. Listen,
Okay.
You can't prove yourself. When you came in this world, you was perfect.
I disagree.
Listen, because you came in this world, you're going to die the same way you came. Listen, nameless. No one's going to remember you.
I disagree. I have a legacy. What's yours?
I'm going to tell you. All right. You don't have a legacy.
You don't know that.
I'm going to tell you how I know.
I never said that. I said, what is yours?
I can tell you, right?
Okay.
Because right now, in this case, everybody watching this, they're going to say who their grandma is. They're going to say their great-grandma is. They can't say who their great-great-great-grandma is. They forget. People can't tell you, we argue a lot about Jesus. There's only a few people that we remember. No one's going to remember you. The only thing that matters is now.
I disagree.
Listen, no one's going to remember you. The only thing that matters is
maybe
now.
you don't want anybody to
No,
remember
I do. I want everybody to remember you. Listen, I want everybody to remember you. You're attached to something. You're attached to doing something that's not going to work. When you get to the...
I think it is working.
How's it going to work when no one's going to remember you?
No, I
the man that
disagree with
If
you.
you die right now, he's going to go get some more pussy.
I thought you said you weren't going to
I
swear
said,
at me.
if you die, pussy's not a swear word.
Yeah, but do you have any
Pussy's
other...
not a swear word.
a swear word?
Vagina.
Do you have any other use of the English language?
Sex.
Yes.
Right.
Of course. He's a masculine man.
No,
He's going to get
a masculine man don't run around just getting sex. That's
But you said if I die.
No, it don't matter. It don't matter because I'm going to say this.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this to you. And I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm gonna say this.
I'm not arguing.
I'm gonna say this. Whatever happened
Uh-huh.
in your first relationship,
Mhm.
right? To where he told you, right, you talk too much, or you talk too much, or you talk back, and he made you think that you wasn't acting the way a woman should act.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you that wasn't a man. Because listen, a man can accept a person's opinion, a person's
That's
mind.
true.
A man can sit down and have a conversation.
You're
with a
absolutely
woman.
right. We've been doing that here, and I believe that I've been very effective communicating without shouting, without swearing. I did want to take a moment because you told me I wasn't feminine, and there's a lot of men in the sense that
You are feminine. You're
can I please
you're too feminine.
Now it makes sense. I didn't know you were this femininity.
You're too feminine. You're too feminine.
because you're not masculine.
No, you're too feminine because listen. Because I have to men. Listen, the men out there right now.
I was gonna ask. Okay, I don't know the men in the room.
No. I'm saying the men that you look at in the world. The men in the world, they're not masculine. Because
Okay.
listen, they run around and they doing things. Everybody is both mixed. What I'm saying is that you.
Yes, we agree with that. Thank you for the compliment. Final point. Well, it was a pleasure talking to you both.
Yeah.
And I appreciate having the debate.
But Jesus is the serpent in the Garden of Genesis 3.
You can believe whatever you
It's
want
not a
to.
belief. It's
Well,
actually.
he asked me to make my final
I'm sorry,
point.
sweetheart.
Okay, thank you.
I just
So
wanted to stay in character for you. You know, the feminist, masculine lady.
you're doing a perfect job.
I know. I
Okay.
thought you. I knew you thought that.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so my final thought is faith is something that we choose. We don't have all of the answers. Even the Bible says, I set before you life and death, choose. Whatever you want to choose, that's fine. I'm not here to convince you. I believe in a masculine man, a feminine woman.
marriage, children, and family. I think that's the only thing that's going to keep this planet going. If you choose to believe it's a prison planet, that's fine. I see the beauty in every day, and I'm grateful for an opportunity to live and enjoy it.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thanks for watching today, guys. Please comment below your thoughts
Yeah,
on the
I don't know
episode.
about that
If you disagree, I'd love to hear it. I read every single comment. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much.
So, Jesus is the serpent in the garden in Genesis 3.
Okay, and where are you basing that off of?
The Elohim said that they should not eat the fruit,
Yes.
or they will die.
Yes.
That was a lie. God can't lie. The serpent is the only one who led them to the truth. If you look at Christ, he leads us to the truth.
Is Adam and Eve still alive now?
Yeah, you're part of Adam and Eve.
No, but they died, right? Adam and Eve did die. They were going to have eternal life on earth until they ate that apple.
In the text, though, we're talking about the Bible.
In the text, yeah.
Not our feelings.
They said you will
Throw
surely
that
die.
out. We did feelings. Now we're going to go to the Bible and we're going to do text, right?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening to your reference.
In the Bible, the text, the Hebrew text says, when you eat it, you will die.
You will surely die.
You will surely die. Not, hey, in about 900 years, you guys are going to be toast. They're dying right. They say you're going to die right after you eat it.
That is the interpretation that you're going with in saying that they're going to die immediately. They did not say immediately. They were going to live, and there was not going to be anything that was going to cause death to them. It's something that broke down their genetic build that they were already blessed with. So when you're saying that, it's not a lie, and the serpent wasn't the one that told them that. The serpent told them, God doesn't want you to eat it because you're going to unlock extra knowledge. They did unlock that extra knowledge.
Wait. The serpent said, God doesn't want you to eat it because when you eat it, you will also be gods. It doesn't say unlock certain knowledge. It says you will also.
It says the knowledge of good and evil.
And you will. They don't. But it says they don't want you to eat it because you will also be gods. That's what the text says.
No, the text says that you will know and understand the knowledge of good and evil. It didn't say that you will be gods.
Listen, you gotta hear what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm listening.
It says you will unlock the knowledge of good and evil and become gods. You left that part out.
Understood. So
yeah, they didn't want them to become gods. That's the reason.
Are you familiar with the first sin being sex?
No. What?
When Adam and Eve, when that apple wasn't little, it was the forbidden fruit.
Okay, now we're
the
going to
forbidden fruit.
Some Gnosticism.
The forbidden fruit was sex.
Wait, that's Gnosticism. So wait.
No, that's not Gnosticism.
Let me tell you because it says,
What?
Please have sex and proliferate. Please have sex and multiply. So you're wrong about that.
They weren't multiplying.
If sex was a sin,
they weren't multiplying by sex. They were still multiplying. But look at how Eve was born. She was born from the rib. They didn't have to be born through sex, and they didn't have to be born through that painful experience. That's what their punishment was when they were cast out of the Garden of Eden.
Okay, in Genesis chapter 1, before the rib deal.
Yeah.
And the lady who's here, she would love that because everybody knows women come out of men's ribs, right? But
Go ahead.
The chapter 1 says, hey, you guys, I made you male and female. Now get this place full of people. That would mean that they're reproducing, not because of a rib coming out of some guy's side and then there's a lady.
So who were the children documented before they left the Garden of Eden?
Who were the children? What do you mean?
What children did they have? If they were reproducing, who did they give birth to?
In Genesis chapter 1.
Before they were cast out of the Garden of Eden.
In Genesis chapter 1, it says multiply.
Right.
It's a commandment by the Elohim, the creators. What do you mean who's the children?
So they didn't multiply yet.
What? Yes, they did.
So who were their children?
You do know there were more than one.
I know there's more than you're saying Cain and Abel. I understand that, but Cain and Abel came after their knowledge of good and evil.
The land of Nod, and there were people there.
Yes.
So
those are the people
you
of
agree
clay.
With me that there was more than two people.
But those are the people of clay. Those weren't the people that have the breath of God inside of them.
People of Cain, you mean?
The people of clay.
You're talking about mud.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting really far off here.
No, because that's what was just. Go ahead.
The people of clay, which is Christ, right? Christ is a man, flesh and blood, correct?
Yes, he's flesh and blood.
So Christ is evil?
No, not evil at all.
You're implying
Christ
that he have a soul?
I didn't say that he doesn't
You
have
just
a
said the
soul.
people. Am I hearing that? Didn't you say they don't have souls if they're clay?
I didn't say they didn't have souls
What
if
did
they
you
were clay.
say?
I said the people of clay. They were different. They didn't have the breath of God.
They didn't have souls.
I said they didn't have the breath of God inside.
So
Does
they
Christ
didn't have
the breath of
souls.
God?
Absolutely.
Was he clay?
No.
Oh, so Christ wasn't made out of flesh and blood, material?
He is made of flesh and blood, but the difference that you're missing is the sentience, that consciousness.
Hold on.
While we're talking about, I'm not jumping up.
That point.
I'm telling you,
said
explain the
people
breath of
clay.
God.
You said people clay.
Yes, they did not have
Clay,
that
clay
sentience.
just means flesh and blood material. Matter is.
Of course.
When we're talking about clay, we're talking about material. So
Right.
if we
So
just get
this
back
is
to
so I can tell you those people of clay, if you're looking for a reference on that, those are the Neanderthals. These are the people that didn't have.
You were everywhere.
I'm telling you, these are the people that didn't have that consciousness. They didn't have that sentience that you and I have. The way that we're aware of life and death. When we're talking about that breath of life, that's what Adam had inside of him. That sentience, that connection to God that you still share. This is the evidence of God's existence throughout all of us. It's been since then. And Eve had that same existence, and they were going to procreate and have more children without it being a painful birth. When she decided to be deceptive and participate in the forbidden fruit and consuming the forbidden
fruit wasn't forbidden.
It was.
I mean,
it was told to them
it
that
was
they weren't
forbidden.
supposed to.
The
Go
fruit
ahead.
wasn't evil. You need to listen to
I didn't
what
say
the
evil. I said forbidden.
it was forbidden because the Elohims at the end of chapter 2, at the end of chapter 3, the Elohim, which wasn't God, it was a council God, say, now they're going to be gods like us. That's why they didn't want them to eat the fruit, not because it was evil.
And so, what knowledge did they obtain that made them gods like them?
They understood they understood everything. They understood all the, what you say, forbidden knowledge.
Well, what is the forbidden
All
knowledge?
the deep knowledge that you see in Enoch, that's forbidden with all the so-called fallen angels.
But
How
would they know that if that happened after Adam and Eve?
What do you mean, how did they know?
Because you're saying that's the forbidden knowledge, like in the book of Enoch. How would they know that knowledge if it followed after their participation in
that's
the
not
forbidden
true.
fruit?
That moment in Enoch is supposed to
Surpass it.
it's supposed to be at the same time of creation.
So how would eating that fruit give them that knowledge based on what you're implying if it's supposed to be
Enoch
evil?
says the angels taught them how to make swords, how to do makeup, how to do this, how to do that. That's all the knowledge that they weren't supposed to have. But the God said, don't eat it because you'll die.
I'm telling you what the forbidden knowledge is. The forbidden knowledge was sex, and that's the act that they did.
So why is sex
So that's
forbidden?
why.
Why is sex forbidden?
Because the format of how they had sex, they were supposed to reproduce, and they were supposed to have other children, not in that format. The format that you're mocking about, the rib, this was how they gave birth before. That was an act of God.
So men give birth by having a rib taken out and are you
in that time frame?
We're not doing science anymore, right?
Go ahead. No, we can go science.
So
go ahead, I'm
where
listening.
in science did a male ever have a rib removed and then become a human being?
That is not accepted anymore because we're no longer in the Garden of Eden. If we were in the Garden of Eden, we would still be doing it.
So
they
She moving the field goal post now.
Yes, and the practice of how it was done. That's why the serpent introduced sex to Eve, and they brought in Adam to introduce it to him, and they were cast out the Garden of Eden.
So sex is evil. So all the prophets throughout the Bible, Moses was born through sex, Elijah, they're just evil because their mom and dad decide to.
That's why it's important that we have the sacrifice of Jesus
dogs
Christ, so that way it's not evil anymore.
Is it evil for?
It's animalistic.
Why do animals have babies and have pain like horses and
of course
and dogs? Did they get cursed with the sin of Eve too?
We weren't going to be submitted to the same pains of animals. We were above animals. Now we're at the same level of animals.
Animals have to get it too?
No, I'm saying they were already getting that. We are now going through the same pain of animals now. Well, where else would they get that from? If they were already, so go ahead.
It's not true.
But look at how you like to. You'd rather relate with animals instead of being above animals and be the God.
Say something.
That's why
that people having sex to actually live and survive. When God says, "Be fruitful."
That's why we're having sex now, because we're out the Garden.
Before Genesis 3, God said, "Be fruitful and multiply, guys," and he didn't say, "Guys, get your ribs out. We need to make this fill this place with people." He said, "I made you male and female. be fruitful and multiply. We know that it's reproduction.
But you understand that the design of that garden goes beyond comprehension. That's why it's told the way
you know
that
what
it's
you're
told.
doing.
I'm listening.
This is like eisegesis, but I'm okay with that. I'm rolling with it.
I'm listening.
So we're all freestyling and flying by the seat of our pants at this moment, because you're like saying things that never were said in the Bible. There's nothing at all saying that it was sex. There's nothing at all in there.
But I'm saying,
But
so
that's
what
what
is
the
the
Christian
forbidden
church-
knowledge? No.
That's what the Christian
So I'm
church
asking
is
you, what
taught.
is the forbidden knowledge? I'm telling you what the forbidden knowledge was that was gained from there, and that's why her childbirth was painful. That's why the children that they had from sex.
You're not
one of them
listening.
murdered
Somebody
the other
told you
because
that.
they were from
That
the
did
knowledge
not
of
say
knowledge
in the
of
Bible.
From that forbidden fruit. They're born of the knowledge of good and evil. That's why Cain was good. That's why Abel was evil. Abel was good. Cain was evil, and Cain killed his brother. They were fruits from that
So
labor.
Cain was good. No, I'm seeing. You said Abel was good, right?
Abel was good.
Wasn't Abel born by sex?
Yes, he was.
So how-
But that's the knowledge of good and evil. The evil was still inside of his brother.
Okay.
They're good and evil.
Let me tell you why I say Jesus is because this is
I'm listening.
Jesus is a serpent in the garden according to the text, because the Elohim did lie in the text. If you, because you have fact checkers here, if you look at Genesis 3, they say at the end, they are going to be gods like us. They are going to be gods like us. Before that, they said, hey, you guys are going to die. Which one is it? The lie was that they didn't want them to be gods. I can prove it in the Bible. They're going to be gods like us. Then they said, we better hurry up and get them out of here. I'm paraphrasing. We better get them out of here.
By the seat of our, the
Because you're on, and I love
I'm listening.
No, I just want to get to the core of it,
Yeah.
that it's solid.
Yeah.
They said, now we got to get out of here, because now that they have knowledge of good and evil, the gods they'll be able to live forever. So when you understand, when you break constructs, when you
It says that they'll live forever?
yeah,
Specifically?
it says, unless they take hold of the tree of forever life or something like that, the tree of life, and
and that's
live
where the
forever.
forbidden fruit was?
No, it was forbidden from them because they didn't want them. Christ says,
You said that they'll be gods unless what? What was the stipulation for them being gods?
they become gods like us, knowing good from evil. You have to be able to know good from evil to be a good judge. The word Elohim means judge as well. It means government, judge, God. So if I'm going to be a good judge, I have to know good from evil. Why would a God, by the way, why would a benevolent God not want you to know good from evil? Don't you tell your children when they're born, that's not good, that's good. You want your creation to know good from evil. So there's the point that that's not God anyway, and that they lie. But I digress. Let me go back to the question you asked me. They tell them at the end, they say to each other, we got to get them out of here, because now that they know good from evil, they're going to be gods. Christ told us all the time, you are gods. Who hated it? The evil ones, which are the symbolic of the Elohim, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. They were the ones that said, oh, why are you teaching them this? Oh, we got to kill this guy because the people are getting knowledge. Christ is showing them that they can be gods. Get it? The serpent told them, you can be gods. Christ told them, you can be gods. The Elohim said, don't do that. We don't want you to be gods. The Pharisees said, don't do that. We don't want you to be gods. Jesus is the serpent in the garden. That's a representation.
So that's an ex facto way to break it down, but that doesn't mean that Jesus is the serpent himself.
Okay.
There's no text that supports that. It's just
I just gave you text.
No, you're giving me text and you're giving me context.
No, I'm giving you the actual scripture from the Bible.
But I'm saying Jesus did say that, but that doesn't mean that he existed during the same time as the Garden of Eden.
Excuse me? I thought Jesus is everlasting, aren't
But
you?
yes, but that's the consciousness
Wait,
of Jesus
wait,
at that time. When he came in the physical flesh, he came in the physical flesh. John 3:16.
What does he say? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, right?
Correct.
So I thought Jesus is there in the beginning.
Right, the conscious of Jesus is there in the beginning, but Jesus as the physical man, Jesus in the physical sense, existed around before 33 AD.
Right,
Jesus existed 2,026 years ago.
He came in different
times. What evidence would give you that he is that serpent specifically? You're using the same words that the serpent did. Does that mean that you're the serpent?
Wait, I just gave you evidence. Jesus
said that we can do the same things as him and more through God.
Through God, okay.
He said we can do the same things and more. So it doesn't mean that we can just capitalize. Hold on. But did he say through God? Did the serpent say? I'm staying on the point. Jesus said we can do it through God. Did the serpent say that you could do it through God, or did he say you have to do it behind his back?
Jesus said, "You can do. You will be gods, right? He
did not say you will be gods.
They didn't tell Jesus. Why are you saying Jesus said aren't?
Jesus did not say you will be gods.
Oh wait, hold on. Jesus says, "Ye are gods." Doesn't it say that in Psalms 82? That's what Christ said.
But he's not saying you will be. He's already claiming it.
The God. Stay with the God.
I'm staying with it. Okay.
Christ said, "Ye are gods." Doesn't it say that in the Bible? And by the way, that she's talking about sons of God.
Of course.
In Psalms 82, he's discussing the sons of God with Elohim, which is that's like a play on words. But anyway, Christ says, "Ye are gods." Doesn't it say that in your scriptures? In the garden, Christ said, "Oh, they don't want you to be gods. You guys can be gods. Eat that fruit. Ye are gods." You basically, Christ wasn't saying, "Hey, all you sinners are gods." He says there's a way to become God, and it is to.
But two different entities saying something that's the same does not mean it's the same person.
Oh, it's in the understanding of Christ in the Bible. We know that Christ is everlasting. Christ is always present. Do you not agree with that as a Christian?
I agree with that.
Has Christ been around before he was born in 26 years ago, roughly? So you agree that Christ was here before, right?
Now, this is where I want to ask you. Do you mean physically or spiritually? Was he here before? Spiritually, he was here before. Physically, he was not here before.
And does spirit manifest into flesh?
It can.
It can, or does it?
It can. It doesn't always happen that way. There's some spirits that still exist that have not manifested in the flesh.
The flesh that is here, is there spirit in it?
That's correct.
Okay, so...
And that has the breath of God, the breath of God that we were discussing earlier.
Yes. So we both agree that Christ always existed.
Mm-hmm.
We agree that that flesh holds spirit.
Correct.
So you understand my concept that Christ was there in a not in a different type of form in the garden, and then later in the gospel, Christ came as flesh and blood.
So why would you determine that? The serpent did not reveal himself to be Jesus. He did not reveal himself to be the Savior. The snake did not reveal himself to be the one to help and heal. Jesus told you he's the Savior.
Oh, so the serpent didn't help him by saying you can be gods?
Jesus did help. The serpent did help them. Jesus, when he talked to his
The serpent
people,
did help them. Wow, I love it. We're doing well. You're making some progress.
I'm telling you, the serpent helped them to give them the option to do what they wanted to do. And that option was still on them. And they still disobeyed. They still disobeyed. And look at the consequences that they had. It's the evidence there that they did not live eternally that they were supposed to. But Jesus came back to rectify that and told us how we can live eternally.
Stop right there.
Go ahead.
When Jesus came, did he say, if you follow this path that I'm showing you, pointing to, you will be able to live forever?
He said through God. And that was
we got that.
Right, so that's the path.
That's not
the serpent did not tell them through God. That's why I'm telling you the contradiction he did not tell them through God. He told them through the forbidden fruit.
The serpent told them through God because the serpent's part of the Elohim as well. When you
see how you're playing with the words of it though? Like he distinctly told them through the fruit.
If we look at what the late Dr. Michael Heiser teaches, he doesn't teach Jesus as a serpent, but he talks about the Elohim. He even teaches, he breaks it down, that the Elohim is a type of spiritual. We look at the seraphim, we look at the Nahash in the Bible. Those are type of fiery serpent-like beings. Earlier someone brought
all interpretation.
I want to give you some actual facts.
I'm listening to it, but that's still based off. But you're saying a fire is a serpent. How is a fire a serpent? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
One reason a fire can symbolize a serpent is the way.
Symbolize. How is that a fact?
Okay, you asked me to tell you why would Dr. Heiser and others say that a serpent is fire as well.
Yeah, I'm listening.
They move like a flame. They're symbolic. Throughout even other texts, ancient texts, serpents were divine. They weren't seen as evil. So Michael Heiser doesn't say Jesus is a serpent, but he does say that it's the Elohim who are fiery beings. In the desert with Moses, when the serpents bit the people, they said they were fiery Nahash. They were actually shining, fiery beings. That is a serpent as well. Because of those beings were type of, you can call them heavenly bodies, watchers, whatever you want to call them. So in the garden, when you hear serpent, Christ existed as one of the heavenly bodies, just like Satan existed as a heavenly body. There was no difference. The whole count, Satan is no different than Christ.
So based off of what you're saying, the serpent represents this fiery flame, right?
The serpent was a seraphim or a nakash.
Okay, so let's just go on that basis.
And
Do you
the
understand?
Elohim were also.
But do you understand that the serpent in the Garden of Eden wasn't like that kind of serpent?
Oh,
it was a
really?
different serpent.
Where-
It had legs and it was casted
How
out.
have you seen this?
It was casted out the Garden of
Can you
Eden
show
where
me
they
what that
removed
is
it.
and what text?
Yes,
What is
please.
it in
This is in
Revelation?
Genesis. That it was
It's in Genesis that it has
cursed to
legs?
slither around for all time after that.
Wait, so it said it has legs.
It was cursed to slither after its punishment.
I want to get back to before the curse.
Go ahead.
Where does it say that it has legs?
So why would it have to be cursed to slither afterwards? If you're able to follow context clues, what was it doing before that if it's slithering afterwards?
All of us have imaginations.
I'm not saying imaginations.
And I'm imagining
So why would it now start slithering after the Garden of Eden if it's already been doing that? What alteration happened?
Okay, that particular verse.
Are you familiar that there's an alteration that happened that had to occur for it to have that punishment afterwards?
When it says you're cursed too, that's very esoteric. When it says you'll be cursed, you'll be lower. Let me ask you a question: Is Christ downtrodden? Is Christ lower in the gospel, or is he a king with glory and is he rich, or is he a pauper that hides and he was crucified and he was spit on and hated? Which one is that? Which one was low? Was Christ a king, or was he spit on and low?
That is interpretation.
No,
it's going to be based on interpretation. Because Christ was king. He was revered. He was rich and favored, and he was respected. When he walked through the crowd, when they grabbed on, he was rich and favored by the people.
For Passover, he said, "See that guy with that pitcher of water? Go ask him if we could do Passover at his house." How is he a king?
Okay, but did they not still obey him as if he was a king? No, but I'm not speaking on material. You asked me a question. I'm telling you that they did worship him and he was still a king. There were still people bowing down and kissing at his feet the same way that they would a king while he walked through these grounds. They still gave him a chariot ride, and he even had a crown.
Was he rich?
And he had a crown.
Was he rich?
He had gifts of gold by the three wise men when he was born.
Was Christ rich in the gospel?
Christ was rich.
Okay,
Christ was rich.
Okay. So let me tell you, Christ was not rich in the gospel. Christ said, even the Son of Man doesn't have a place to lay his head. He didn't even have a place to live. He was homeless.
Yeah, because
why do you say yeah?
Home was heaven. Of course he was homeless. We weren't home yet. He was still walking and leading everyone to home.
I'm going back to what you just did.
I'm listening.
You said, yes, Christ was rich. And I almost said the L-I-E word, but I don't want to be rude. So I went to the scriptures and I showed you a scripture, not my feelings. It says Christ was homeless. And you said, yeah.
He was.
So was he rich?
Yes, he's still rich.
Okay, this is Christ.
I said he was rich and favored. Did I not say he was rich and favored? He turned away all worldly possessions to prove his real richness.
Because we're talking about.
But are you saying materialistically rich? Because are you?
Yeah, that's what you're saying all this time. Because you brought gold.
I already said, but I said he was still gifted gold by the three wise men. Was he not?
Did he live in opulence? Did he say, hey?
Did Jesus have money and was he popping tags? No, Jesus wasn't popping tags.
Do people make fun of Christ and Christians more than any other Abraham, more than Islam, more than Judaism? Do they really are the Christians?
It's all perspective as well, because Jews will tell you that they're the ones that are being the most.
So are you
ridiculed throughout the time?
The most ridiculed, right? They're the lowest.
I didn't say that. I said that's all perspective.
Can you make fun of Christ without getting worried about somebody doing something to you?
You can absolutely do it. We've seen multiple people say blasphemous stuff.
Without getting unalived, right?
There's a gentleman that makes a career of saying statements about Jesus right behind you.
So my point is, when you look so my point is, when you said, oh, and look, it says he's going to be low in the dirt. That's the symbolism. Christ is low in the dirt. Nobody respects Christ. Let's be real, besides Christians. Everybody makes, the history. It's clear that there's historicity of Christ, but you can still sit with people and they'll tell you, no, there's no historicity of Christ. He's the lowest of all. Nobody respects Jesus. So that's the point of that. Back to what I was saying.
No, but you're saying that he's the lowest low.
Back to the thing about the serpent. It's not a literal snake. It is, according to Dr. Heiser.
But you play back and forth between what you want to take literal and what you want to do as symbolism. But you're saying the facts is based off of what is literal, and you say it's now a metaphor. So I don't know which way to follow how you're handling the conversation.
You shouldn't be in the Bible if you don't know how to look at metaphors.
But I do, but I'm going off of your words. I'm trying to follow you right now. I'm not following, you're not the Bible. I'm following your words.
You kept bringing up, that's a little complex, but I did entertain it about the dirt and the low's dirt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's not a real snake. It never was actual snake.
But you just told me about the fire being the symbolism for the snake, and that was your proof that you
Fire
utilized.
means
So if you're,
shining.
but no, if you're utilizing it because of the way that the flames look like the snake, seraphim. If you're saying for seraphim that the flames look like the snake, I'm going based off of that. That was your proof and evidence.
Well, that was one.
But you were
example.
using that. That was your evidence that the snake there had to be Christ. Now you're saying it's not a snake, so you're agreeing with me.
No, it never was a real, literal reptile.
Correct. Okay, so what
Because
was it?
do snakes talk?
No, but I'm saying you're the one that was using the basis of the snake and saying Jesus was a
Because it's
snake there.
symbolic. It's not a real snake.
So what is it then?
I just told you they were
It
angels.
was fire.
They were.
That looked like a snake.
No.
But it wasn't a snake.
The Bible.
Based off of snakes.
Remember, we're talking about the Bible.
I'm listening. I'm following.
The Bible says there's seraphim, there are Nakash, the Elohim. It doesn't literally say, it doesn't explicitly say the Elohim are seraphim. But if you look at Isaiah, there's guardians around the throne in Isaiah, I believe it's 14, and those are a type of shining, fiery beings.
So
And
did it state
if you
that
deduce-
with the being in the Garden of Eden?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. If you deduce that the throne, the people of the throne, the sons of God, these divine beings are represented in Isaiah as these serpent-like beings, you can say, oh, okay, that makes sense that this serpent in the garden is not actually a snake, it's an angelic-like
I
being.
can agree to that.
So that's
I can agree.
Let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your stance on it.
What did?
The Bible, the snake, about the snake, if they said about the snake, it wasn't an actual snake.
And that was the first thing that I said, that it wasn't an actual snake. But then we went to that interpretation. But I understand. So I thank you for.
All right.
Thanks for staying all the way to the end, guys. It means a lot to me. If you could please leave a review on Apple, that helps us climb the charts, it helps us get way more guests, and it helps us continue growing the podcasting team. So it would mean a lot to me if you left a review on Apple or wherever else you're listening. Thanks so much.
Okay, so his final claim then is black people should get reparations. How do you feel about that?
You know, I think if black people were to get reparations, everybody else that has gone through historic injustice should also get reparations. So I'd be cool with reparations as long as people that had historic injustice, including like Native American, everybody needs reparations. It's one of those things where if one group gets it, other groups that have gone through historical injustice need to get it for the sake of fairness.
So nobody received reparations.
I think it's either or.
No, I'm saying, have anybody received reparations?
Well, you know, there's been historically reparations. I think we've seen it with like the Holocaust, for example.
No, I know. I said, in slavery, have anybody received reparations? Because you suggested that if one person received reparations, then everybody else should. Have anybody received it?
I don't think anybody has.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the fact that's a lie. They did receive reparations. Everybody that had a slave, then white, they received reparations for the land and for things like that. So reparations was given. And you suggested that if it goes for one, it should go for all. So you suggested that black people should get reparations, not me.
I mean, there was the 40 acres and a mule thing.
And right now, that'd be billions of dollars that they're supposed to get. But listen, I'm gonna say this. When it comes to reparations, a lot of people suggest that people should get reparations. But first, I think they should tell people where they're from. See, what's more important than reparations is where I'm actually from. See, reparations not going to help me. Money's going to be here today, gone tomorrow. They give me 40 acres and a mule, they give me 40 million. I'm going to spend it, it's going to be gone. I want to know where the fuck I'm from. I don't give a fuck about reparations. I want them to unravel history and stop giving me his story. I want that. I don't give a fuck about reparations because reparations was given to the people that deserved it, and evidently the white people deserved it because the white people got it. Mm-hmm. Y'all already got reparations.
Well, I mean, when you say you all, I mean, I don't know if I consider because
your ancestors.
Well, it's not my ancestors. Though. That's the issue with I think just calling people white just because they look white. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not like there's certain connotations of what that means. There's a lot of white people that have actually gone through historic injustices like black people have for different reasons. I mean, I know my ancestors were like straight up like 75% of them were murdered because they were Christians. They were Christians in a Muslim area. So, and they lost like 90% of their land. I would love that to be resolved because this was like 100 years ago. It was even that.
What land?
Like half of Turkey's Armenian. Half of Turkey's Armenian, dude.
You Armenian?
Historic Armenian.
But you white.
Biblical Armenian.
But you white.
But what is white?
But you white.
What is white?
But you white. When you get done talking, you're white, right?
What is white?
What are you?
I mean, I consider myself like Near Eastern.
What?
I'm from the Caucasus.
When you get done talking, you're white. You were genetically created, right? You are a human. You were created to work, right? You were created to say everything that you created. I wasn't created to follow what you're saying. That was not for me. I'm the creator of what you're saying. I taught you everything you know. And that's what you don't get, right? You go sit here and suggest that you stole it. I say you didn't steal it. I say I gave it to you. The information, everything in the world, I gave you. I gave it all to you. Right? I don't think you get it. I don't think you understand.
I don't understand that.
So reparations. I know it's confusing because everything's confusing. Life is confusing. But you suggested in the beginning it's about reparations, right? But you suggested that we should not give reparations, but we said we should. You said we should. Yeah, exactly. So somebody got it, so everybody should get it. So you already on my side. So you always on my side.
Probably, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about how historically white people, when their slaves were taken away, were given.
It was never slavery. Slavery never existed.
You know what I mean?
I mean, prove it. We're a slave ship. Slavery never existed because Christopher Columbus didn't find America. People was already here. There wasn't no damn Indians because the Indians already said that we was here and that we gave them something, right? And what we gave them was weapons. Right? I don't think you get that, right? So your history is wrong, right? Everything is wrong. I don't want reparations. I want America, nigga. You understand?
I don't understand that.
So reparations.
Watching this nigga.
I know it's confusing.
Nigga on PTO.
Life is confusing. But you suggested in the beginning it's about reparations, right? But you suggested that we should
nigga, I'm out till
But
Wednesday.
you said we should. Yeah, exactly. So somebody got it, so everybody should get it. So you already on my side. So you always on my side.
Probably, yeah. I mean, if you're talking about how historically white people, when their slaves were taken away, were given.
It was never slavery. Slavery never existed.
You know what I mean?
I mean, prove it. We're a slave ship. Slavery never existed because Christopher Columbus didn't find America. People was already here. There wasn't no damn Indians because the Indians already said that we was here and we gave them something, right? And what we gave them was weapons. Right? I don't think you get that, right? So your history is wrong, right? Everything is wrong. I don't want reparations. I want America, nigga.
I agree with you about discovering where we're all from because that's the issue that exists with white people. How like just because you look white, you're kind of put in a bucket. That also exists with black people because historically you got the Moors and all that, and like people don't talk about that.
Well, I'm saying my kind. You talk about Africans, you talk about all those.
What you mean?
About black people sold black people.
Career.
But black people didn't sell black people. Africans sold me. I don't think you get it, right? Because we're different. Just like you suggested.
I get where you're going. I do.
Yeah, everything is different, right? But as far as reparations, I don't think you're going to say that cotton. Everybody said cotton was a major thing that they were selling a lot, right? You can't find nothing without cotton, right? And everybody look at it all.
I'm talking about my career, nigga.
America, right? That helped build this nation, right? But it ain't something that they suggested. We was already selling cotton. That's what we was already doing, right? They came and took over it, just like right now.
I know. I signed with Minnesota.
So-called black
I left Phoenix. Had to get the body there.
Decide how we use it, and so everything's like that in this present plan.
Cool.
Nah, we went all the way. Shit.
Please hit like and subscribe. It helps us grow the show. It helps us.
It was cool.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
There's not many white people here, so.
See, I don't know why you just lied. See, when you say stuff, I gotta let you know
that was a lie.
Yes, a lie because that's true. Because out of black is how you create white. So every black person you see here is white because that's how you get it. You cannot get a black person from a white woman, but you
can black.
Of course.
I'm black.
Street of course.
Through the roof.
Of course. See, I think y'all.
You can say the N-word, brother.
Yeah.
I think so.
Y'all separate things.
You can say the N-word.
Listen, me, the N-word.
Sean's gonna go, hey,
you can say it.
Like, I didn't say me.
Listen,
you can do that.
You can say it because in history, y'all actually trying to say it. I can't say the word. I think it was Naga. I forgot what it was.
I know.
But they heard that word. And, Naga. So they was trying to say that. Yeah, so it's okay, it's proper to say, but I think that people let words attached to their emotions. So if you let the word attached to your emotions, it's your fault. right? A word should not attach to your emotion. A word is just a fucking word.
I changed my jersey number.
People put
I went from 29.
So you don't think there is
Feel
one?
me?
So like him and so the whole putting all
I'm
white
number
people
8
in
now,
the
nigga.
because
Fuck is you
he's
talking
like
about?
trying to be distinct about like
Straight
when
up.
you get pulled over, you're not like
Yeah, nigga.
you know, it's like sometimes you want to get put in that fucking bucket, you know. So let's not act like everyone wants to. Yeah,
I ain't saying you look like Kobe, but you got Kobe traits, nigga.
You're saying that
as a power forward, nigga.
Do or don't? I don't even understand.
I'm saying the reparation was given, right, to
already
people that had land.
To the white people.
Yes, I'm saying we want the land. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we don't want reparations. We want the land. If we can't have the land, we don't want anything. And then I don't want the land either.
It'd be just like
see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm doing now. That's what I try to tell my bro. Nigga, I'm playing ball, nigga. I got Anthony Edwards on my team. Fuck, I look like Hoggy. Shooting all the time. Hell nah.
Right? He was already here. Yeah. I don't think you understand.
And then we got Rudy Gobert. Nah, nigga. Right? This year I'm a Panther. I got a ring already. It's time to get them a ring.
All right. Well, I mean,
exactly, bro.
If I guess I have no proof of it.
I'm not sure he's been white. I think he's been whitewashed.
I should have went to Memphis though.
I mean, that's a fact.
Well, listen, I don't think it was done.
Nah, exactly.
That it was stolen.
He want his players to keep shooting and shit.
That it's black people doing it, and white people are doing it for black people.
So black people are behind the scenes pulling the strings regardless.
Yeah.
So you think they were in charge when there was black people being sold for slavery?
Still in charge and been in charge to this day.
See, Phoenix,
right? Y'all are just a cover up.
Phoenix,
welcome.
Booker won hooping, fam. Like how when I played against him, he was hooping all of a sudden. Nah, man. Come on, I was the only nigga.
What makes you think that you're controlling something? No, you're being controlled. Because everything that
but Anthony Edwards over, he gonna take this shot though. So
what's that word, man?
I got more patience now.
And they taught you, right? And then
I'm going for rebounds now.
You think that you got better than the master.
Can't tell me shit about the rebound.
So you don't think that
we the big three, nigga.
That's like we prison over.
Because that's not even a reparation thing. Slavery just didn't exist.
No sir, nigga. Stop playing wrong for.
Slavery. A lot of people assume that slavery was. A lot of people fight, but slavery was a.
Did it big rodent?
This.
Yeah.
This.
Black people.
Bloodline. Because like you can tell. Because
what do you mean?
All the white nations. That's why I say they're all white. Because all of them joined together and attacked us, right? They attacked us. You can see it. They land marches there. If you go to St. Louis, a whole lot of Italian shit there. Right, because they attacked us, right? You go to different places, you're going to see.
St. Louis?
Yeah, of course. All the European nations attacked America because we was here.
That tracks.
That's how they took it from us. We fought for 300 years.
You were here.
I mean, yeah.
No, you're Indian too.
No, Indian.
Native American.
That's great. The Indians told you that we
were supporting
Indians, because I just told you this.
Fuck
Indians
out of here,
had a little spear, and they gave it to Christopher Columbus before he started balling them and eating them and frying them and eating them. Before he started eating them, they gave him something. Yeah, you know that did he ate people when he was over them? He was eating them.
I knew he was a dickhead. I didn't know he was eating people.
He was eating people. Right? Frying them, boiling them, sauteing them.
Would you eat a person?
Anybody that ever made McDonald's ever ate a person.
You think McDonald's is serving human meat?
They tested it. And it had human meat in it. I'm not suggesting anything. They tested it, it had human meat in it. And McDonald's said this. McDonald's said that it only got human in it because humans touched it. That was McDonald's excuse. McDonald's excuse that humans touch it, so of course human meat is
no, there ain't no McHuman. There's no 10-piece McHuman. Girl.
Yeah. Okay.
So hold on. How about Burger King? Are they serving people?
I got a problem.
It can't be just.
I got a problem. Everybody say they serve. How many billions of burgers do Burger King say they serve? How many billions do McDonald's say they serve? So how many?
7.4. No, I'm just kidding.
How many cows is it?
I mean, it's a lot.
How many cows is it?
But there's a lot.
No, not that many.
There's a lot of cows.
But not that many to say that.
There is. There's you know, it's not like one cow per hamburger.
Where all the dead bodies at?
The dead cows?
The dead body, the human body, where they at? Why ain't no more cemeteries getting built? Why is the same number of cemeteries around and everybody keep dying? Because they change it after every 50 years.
And they take your body.
Listen, if you come back to 50 years, the tombstone will be gone. Then you never get the casket. The casket is sold to somebody else the moment your funeral over. I'm keeping it real.
So your body, what happens to the body? It gets sold directly to McDonald's?
And then they liquefy it and put it into the fucking McRib?
But everything is fake. Even
The
recycling.
McRib sounds kind of crazy.
Everything is fake. Did you know this? That everybody right now is recycling shit, recycle bins, and that's fake. We haven't even figured out how to recycle shit. Right? I'm keeping it real. For real, you think I'm playing? Bars don't even recycle. All the recycle bins are fake.
They haven't figured out an effective way to do it.
No, if you follow the recycle bin, you're going to go to the same place, the rest of the trash go all in one spot. So that's fake. Everything is an illusion. Everything is fake.
Yeah, I guess you see the trash and the recycling get thrown into the same thing sometimes, and it's like, all right, this must be the same.
No, it's the same. Everything is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess if slavery didn't even exist,
Now,
then
slavery
there's not.
exists with prisoner of war. Slavery never existed.
Right. When does someone enslave you right this second?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The only slavery that exists is the same slavery that exists now, slavery of the mind. Right? Jesus enslaved people. Right? Allah enslaved people. Right? Every religion enslaved people. Jobs enslaved people.
Oh, so you think people are enslaved to their job?
People
or
are enslaved to any.
How about their partner too?
That's my second season.
That's not a slave. That's just like a relationship,
No,
right?
I gotta fake it. When I go in the house, I gotta pretend to be something.
You gotta pretend to be your mother's son.
I can't act like I was acting with my female. I can't be boyfriend. I gotta put on a different face to see my mom. Right? I gotta put on a different face to see everybody. That's how the world works. So I decided to stop doing that.
Final point. Yeah, my final point is I think you're a gem and you need to be protected at all costs. You know, I think you need to be protected. That's all. My final point is that I just hope no harm comes your way.
What, you threatening me?
You need, obviously. I would never do that. BDGD, vice versa.
If you learned anything from this episode or got any value at all, please share this episode with a friend. It helps us grow the channel. It helps us grow the podcast. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
He wanted to talk about the shroud. Do you guys want me to pull the photo up again? Yeah, sure. Check out there's like carbon dating that was done that was more recent, where they actually dated it to like 2,000 years ago. No, for real, look it up.
Look up.
They carbon dated it where it's like literally right 2,000 years old.
Well, I heard you mention
And by the way, I don't know if I even believe in carbon dating. I just want to put that out there. It just, which I don't think negates the point I'm trying to make.
Well, I think that we were talking about the historicity of Jesus.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you cited was the Shroud of Turin. I was raised Christian. I remember actually having a book on the Shroud of Turin as I probably still have it. I have a lot of books. A book on the Shroud of Turin. I was very interested in it. But let's be very clear. In 1988, 3 different laboratories in different places, including one in Arizona, actually took a small portion of the Shroud of Turin and did independent analysis. All 3 of those spaces found that the Shroud of Turin dates to somewhere around the 13th or 14th century. So I want to be clear. And then they also looked at the way that it was woven, and they said it was typical for the Middle Ages. So let's be clear. The Shroud of Turin, something that was important to my thoughts as a Christian, as a young Christian, has been thoroughly debunked.
I don't know if it's been thoroughly debunked. Let's agree to disagree on that part, because I've seen the carbon dating, I've seen the 1200s version, but I've also seen more recent carbon dating, and I think they just took a sliver of the thread, and they said that this was pretty much from that era. But let's not argue on that. I'll give you a few more points in order to kind of historically prove that Jesus existed.
Why don't you? Okay, so I'm not going to agree to disagree.
Yeah,
because I think that when you have folks that are able to do the actual scientific analysis that everybody in the world uses to understand the origin, the source, the material of foreign objects that have some sort of organic origin. You can't carve in stone and rock. This is what we should recognize and understand. Now, I want to say something else. If the Shroud of Turin is fake, and I think that it has been debunked, that doesn't mean that in and of itself it means that Jesus did not exist. That's one thing that has been debunked. It's just a thing you mentioned. That's why I'm bringing it up. Yeah. But I'd love to know, you also mentioned there were many other sources. I'd love to know what your reference.
Sources are like the 12 disciples that see this man beat death, and then it is such a powerful thing that they witness that then they decide, I don't even know consciously, but they decide that death is nothing. And then you have these 12 disciples going through horrible tortures because they were Christians. They weren't just like killed. They were killed like, hanging upside down, crucified, their skin literally torn off their body, like flesh literally, and you see like the guys' insides, you know what I mean? So this is like stuff that is the most excruciating pain, the worst kind of death that you can imagine. Yet these 12 disciples walked into that death, singing hymns, talking about Jesus. A lot of them are not even feeling the pain while they're being literally killed slowly, like William Wallace. There's horrible stories like how they killed William Wallace, cut off his private parts, all that kind of stuff. These are like insanely painful deaths, and yet they would not deny Jesus during these tremendously painful deaths. Not only were they not denying Jesus, they were in joy that they were getting killed. So that to me is like, for 12, you're a man, I'm a man. What could we see, you and I, that could take the pain of being tortured to death away? So that's another one. Let me give you another example.
I think, wait, before you go there, I'm going to say something very briefly. Those stories are quite dramatic, but we have no historical evidence that they actually occurred.
We do. I
want you to tell us about it.
Well, look up like old Armenian monks that were around during that time, and mind you, Armenians are like 8,000-year-old people or ancient people. Look at their writings, look at their manuscripts, what they actually witnessed.
This is all. No, we're talking about that. Wait, don't broaden the lens too much. Let's keep the aperture where it is. We're talking. You're mentioning the 12 apostles. By the way, apostles. You should also know that in the Bible, we're not always clear about what that number is, right? We say 12, but there's some people who are like, well, maybe the group is a little larger, right? There's no definitive list. These are the 12. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about that. So I want you to also recognize that 12 as a number is used because of its numerological value.
Okay.
And so as we try to look for something that is historically proven as a literal event, even when we try to find these 12 apostles, we struggle. I'd love for you to show me a tomb of someone.
From our ancestry, from our history is like, my ancestors are Armenian people. Right. I gave the example of St. Bartholomew. There's actual manuscripts that exist that talk about how St. Bartholomew, the disciple of Christ, who's in the Bible, then goes, and I think in the Bible looks like it might be Nicholas or something, but Bartholomew, same person, he comes to the Armenian highlands. Nathaniel. He comes to the Armenian highlands, and then he preaches Christianity. Armenia becomes the first Christian nation as a result. In the process of him teaching Armenians Christianity, this guy is basically, skin torn off, tortured to death, sick. And these are things that we hear amongst my ancestors that made such a powerful impression. This man literally was like destroyed.
We hear these things. It's not just your ancestors.
Yeah.
Lots of folks tell those stories. What I am saying is we don't have any definitive proof that they literally happened. These are stories about individuals who, by the way, after forsaking the Savior, it's interesting that when he was alive and they could say something, they were like, not me, I don't want that to happen. But then all of a sudden the story is that after his death, after seeing him risen, now all of a sudden they actually go to their death in these painful ways because they are true believers. There is nothing that we can find, tangible material culture, material sources for any of those things. We have stories of many of the people that we call apostles, right? They're stories. They're stories. And when you go to Alexandria, you'll hear about St. Mark establishing the church there. You'll hear all of these stories. But when you look to find something as definitive proof, there is an extreme paucity of it. And listen, I'm a Kemetic priest, right? I'm not saying that something that's mythological is irrelevant. I certainly wouldn't say that. I'm just saying that when we try to actually shoehorn things that are mythological into a literal historical history, we have lots of problems. And I think that most people who are believers aren't even aware of any of it. They're not aware of any of it. So that's the challenge that we have. I mean,
that's part of faith. Like you're wanting like empirical proof, and part of faith, part of history is that you're not going to have empirical proof.
Wait. Now you're saying faith and history.
Well, you're looking for an answer to faith through history to say, look, this is empirical proof that this existed. Now, obviously, we have a disagreement because I'm talking about the disciples, I'm talking about Christ. Another thing I want to bring up is I was a TV producer, right? Mm-hmm. So I did some ghost hunting shows, and I did some exorcism shows, like actual with Catholic priests and all that.
You found St. Bartholomew and exorcism?
No.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
No.
Come on. So I remember, I must bring the camera. Right?
What's interesting is, and this happened way too many times, it's like in the absence of what happens in those moments, you realize Christ is there. And let me tell you why. Because you sit there, you could be like Gandhi, you could be like Buddha, you could carry a Buddha statue in front of these demonically possessed individuals, and they will not react. But you say the word in the name of Christ, you hold the cross up, these things freak out. And this wasn't just like on one occasion, it kept happening over and over again. Why is it that
the name of Christ?
He's a Yeshua.
Oh, wait a minute. Now you said it was the name of Christ. Now you're not sure what the name is?
No, Yeshua.
Weren't you the person in the world?
Yeshua.
So you say Yeshua to these demonic individuals?
No. When you say Christ or you hold the cross,
his name was Christ.
It freaks these demonically possessed individuals. Yeah.
His name was Christ?
Well, no. When you say that name, it freaks them out.
Wait. Is Christ a name or is it a title?
It's a name. Like, isn't it his name?
No. I don't think any biblical scholar would say that his name is Jesus Christ. That's just what you yell when you stub your toe. The reality is that Christ is a title. In fact, it even predates those.
Okay, regardless of what it is, why is it that these individuals that are demonically possessed don't react to Buddha? They don't react. You can say God, Buddha, whatever you want. You say the name of Christ, you hold the cross up, they have a physical reaction there. Whatever's inside them is rebelling against that. You see evil come out. So doesn't that tell you that there's something?
These are people who have been connected to, familiar with the Christian story. And I really don't believe that the name, a title, by the way, a title that is using vocalized sounds that didn't exist in Aramaic, didn't exist. I mean, you realize that you're saying Christ, but no one would actually say that's the name of Jesus. No one would actually say that title didn't predate Jesus, and it probably wasn't pronounced exactly the same way. Isn't that peculiar? That someone would respond that way to something that is not strictly connected to Jesus as you're trying to.
I mean, I don't know the answer. Like, there's a lot of the answers I don't have, but I realize that for some reason, this is the worst thing you can bring up upon a demonically possessed individual is the name of Christ, the cross. For some reason, they react to that. Now, do I understand what is the reason? Do I know the details of what happened in history that validates that? I can't answer that because there's a lot of things that we don't know. But I see from the reaction of these demonically possessed individuals, I see by the reaction of the apostles who were that were willing to die for the cause, and then there's a shroud of Turin. For me, there's way too much information out there.
This year, nigga, I'm hoping
Jesus was alive, including, by the way, you say there's no proof. Rebound, manuscripts about St. Bartholomew and his preaching, and how many Christians died from blood burial. Bartholomew was killed on 69 AD. So
I already believe this. And I'm only scoring 2 points a game. So
closest era to Christ.
Once I find out Anthony Edwards got like 22, 25, I turn it up.
Nigga. And again, this is really historical literature. That there's a lot of.
I gotta leave. Let him get his bread, man. He gotta eat. Cause I might leave.
That dies down as the Bible dies down. And if you actually read the Bible, it is in the proximity of Christ that these miracles happen. So what I see during that time, there's a lot of miracles happening. Then they die down. We go through dark ages. Now we're in an era where these miracles are coming back. People are actually seeing these miracles. So does that mean Christ is coming back? I have no idea. I'm not that smart to understand.
I would say that in this instance, we have to recognize that one of the reasons why we are told by people who are Christian leaders that we have to have faith is because they know that once you start asking questions,
I got my own shoes on, nigga.
That's the reason why they say you must have faith, my son. But I was raised Christian. I was told that when I'd ask some questions, they'd say, "Well,
my son was no superstar like that, bro."
I wish I was a student of the time saying, "This is a crisis of fact. What you are saying to me is not factual." That's the challenge that I have. Now, and I don't have any problem whatsoever with you drawing inspiration, solace from a narrative that helps you live as a decent human being. That's not what I'm talking about. If that's what you're going to do, wonderful. Do it all day long. But I'm saying that when we begin to do two things, shoehorn the Christian narrative into a historical, literal narrative, first of all, it doesn't fit and it causes lots of problems. And then the other thing that Christians end up doing is they look at this story, this recent story. Human beings lived for a long time before these stories, had many, many books and texts. This recent story, they begin to now tell that story as if it is the history of all humanity. This is a problem. This is a problem. If you want to be Christian, great. But now that you have said this story is literal and it is the salvation of every person on the planet, we have a problem. Because there are a multiplicity of traditions, older, there are a multiplicity of people in different cultures. We have a problem. So you're telling me that a guy with a cow that lives someplace in rural China that has never heard of Jesus, he's going to hell because he didn't.
No, that's not the claim I'm making. What I'm saying is also, if you look at the way the world is constructed, and what we're talking about before, we're living in a slave world. And if you look at how the Federal Reserve Act is written, for example, that is written to enslave us. Now you counter it with the teachings of the Bible. It's literally an inversion of God's word, right? And that's the trick. That's where you see that through what the evil does to enslave us, you see that it's an inversion of what the teachings of Christ.
That the Federal Reserve is an antichrist?
Yeah. Yeah, very clearly I'm telling you that. Very clearly I'm telling you that. I'm telling you the medical system is antichrist.
You're talking
influence.
You're talking to a descendant of enslaved Africans. The most heinous things that ever happened to human beings happened to people that are in my direct lineage.
I could argue the same thing happened to our people. They were literally pregnant.
I'm very aware of the Armenian genocide, and I'm not trying to say that it's not something that more people should know about. I've studied the Armenian genocide, and I think that even calling it Armenian genocide causes problems in certain parts of the world.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's real. That's real. I'm not even saying that wasn't.
And that's an example of an antichrist movement, by the way. And this is what I'm trying to make.
Why is it an example of an antichrist movement? Sometimes human beings do terrible things to other human beings. This has nothing to do
because the teachings of Christ are about liberty, freedom, our sovereignty as individuals.
I really wish that you could have a time machine and go back to tell that to the enslavers who forced my people to practice Christianity. I would love for you to tell them, you're a Christian, why are you doing that to these people? And then why are you forcing them with the Bible? Do you know, just a short period, you've heard of Georgetown University?
Yeah.
Did you know that Georgetown University had a major financial crisis? And in order to remain solvent, what they did is they sold their 272 enslaved people. That's how Georgetown still exists. It sometimes just references the 272. And those people were all Christians. All of those enslaved people were Christians. We have a record of one of those enslaved Christians who had gone to the pastor and said, I hear that you're going to sell us. And that pastor said, no, that's not true, my son. And a few weeks later, here he was being put in chains and being sold into the deep south, more arduous slavery. Do you know what he said? You lied to me. Can you at least give me a Bible? He was given none. That's the tradition of Christianity that I am riling against.
But you're talking about flawed humans that are that are able to make evil out of anything.
It is so unique for us to then say that everything that people have done under the name of Christianity that is evil is flawed.
Well, I'll give another reason why the Christian church, because you're talking about human structures, right? If you even look at the way the Christian church is right now, where you got to go apply for a 501 to start a church, right? 501 nonprofit. You don't have to. I know.
Yeah,
you and I know that, but most people think that you have to do that. Now, what are you doing when you go and you start? You ask the government for permission to have a church. And then you realize, what is that government's agenda? You realize you're literally signing your name to something that's...
You've already acknowledged that if you have a spiritual institution, you are not obligated to file a 501c.
Most people don't know that, though. 99.9% of people don't know you can start a church off of an affidavit. You and I obviously know that.
I don't know why you would say most people don't know that. I don't have a 501c3. In fact, I got a 501c3 for a nonprofit, but not my spiritual.
You know how you know most people don't know that? 99% of churches are 501cs. 1% maybe in the entire country are nonprofit numbers. Most of the functioning ones are 501cs because you can't even function the way the system's built is unless you get a 501. If you try to do it off of affidavit, the Christian way, the way the Bible tells you to do it, well, then you can't even set up a bank account most places. It's still possible. They just make it a lot harder. They want you to have an EIN.
Have an EIN. That's how they're able to track.
Well, then you're under that system. You're answering to government. So
you actually also think your social security number is a device.
Well, I think all of us. I think because if you actually look at the way the government works and how they modify us as human beings, each one of us has a value. They collateralize us as humans. They're like, all right, your life value is worth $100 million. Okay, we have $100 million in the bank. That's the way it works. That is not how the Federal Reserve works.
No,
that's how it works.
Listen, there are a lot of folks who have said that to me in my community. I've debunked it 80 trillion times. The Federal Reserve is not raising money on your Social Security number or on your value. It's just not. This is something that you could. And by the way, you notice that it says 99% of churches in the U.S. are 501c3. Well, they're saying the AI is saying you're wrong, but I want you. And by the way, look at the Georgetown University 272 enslaved people. That one is correct.
You want to look up what percentage of churches are 501c3?
I just want you to know that you have a lot of beliefs that are connected to things that are completely unprovable, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I mean, most
but remember what we're talking about is whether there was a historical, literal person that we could call Jesus Christ. And I'm saying that when you actually look at the evidence, as I have done for 30 years, 30 plus years.
All right, so why did the disciples all decide to be massacred and follow this?
I'm telling you that's part of the story, dear friend.
Okay, so how does that? I'm trying to understand how that comes about.
We have no material because some folks wrote it, and it's a powerful story.
But let's go back in time 2,000 years. The Roman Empire.
That story is not 2,000 years old.
But
it is not.
Whenever Jesus was supposed to exist, they claim he went up against the Roman Empire. Why would the Roman Empire want to create this fictitious thing to control the world? Back in 0, 30, 40, 50 AD.
Well, let's be clear.
Why? Because they were trying to kill the Roman
Empire. I don't believe the Roman Empire creates the narrative of Jesus Christ. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, that's not what I'm saying either. I'm saying the Roman Empire was against that.
They were early Christians. Yeah. They were early Christians. Although, I'm going to beat you up on Tacitus a little bit more. Because it's one of the things people mention. I think you're going to too.
Which one? Say that again.
Tacitus.
Okay,
so I'm not going to beat him up.
Okay.
That's for our other friend that spoke. But it's one of the sources that people use.
Mm-hmm.
I want to just be clear that when you look at the sources, they're wanting. There's a lot that we don't, that we can't actually prove. And this is the only time that we would use even those sources as a source for historicity. None of them are written during that period. We have anonymous texts that we know have been edited. We can see many of the major life narrative of Jesus occurring in other periods before there was ever a Jesus. We even see
that's prophecy, though. You could say that's prophecy.
We even see early Christians. I would love to hear which church would agree that the narratives of ancient Kemet were prophecy for Christianity. I'd love to see which churches. By the way, there are a few, but they're all black. I just want you to know. But really, the Church of Black Madonna is one of them. I'm a historian. Listen, I have to stop myself from speaking sometimes. I'll give you lots of sources. But I want you to know that when we look at actually trying to find things that can prove that there was someone that did the things that Jesus did, performed these miracles, let's say with the name Yeshua, we struggle. The best case is the one that comes from the Talmud, and they say there are 3.
Mm-hmm.
And those descriptions, that's not the Jesus you're following. Sometimes people will say disingenuously, well, Jesus exists in the Talmud, and they're saying that because they think that the person they're talking to has never read the Talmud. That's usually why they say it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question you have to say is, well, which of the 3 do you think is Jesus? Because there are 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are lots of different ways for us to slice this. I just want to say, when we look at all of these facts, we have to say, even believers have to say, this is dubious. This is dubious. I'm not talking about your faith. I'm not talking about your belief. If this works for you and makes you a decent person, wonderful. Do it all day long. Twice all day long.
It's not only that. It's like I've seen, like, okay, so my background is in investigative journalism. I've actually studied on how they make our money, how this entire matrix is built. When you see that this is an inversion, because the Bible's all about Christ and Antichrist. When you realize that this is an inversion of God's message, the message of Jesus Christ, and it is leading to the same enslavement of the people that Jesus Christ was talking about. When he took out the whip and when he berated the money changers and stuff. This is the world we're living in. We're living in the Antichrist world.
I want you to glance at the screen. What does it keep looking? Christianity is directly influenced by Kemet, ancient Egypt, and indirectly by mystery traditions supported. I just want you to look at that. Sections of the Bible, specifically Proverbs, come from Kemetic texts, like the book of Amenemot, supported.
I'm not saying it wasn't historically influenced. I don't think Christianity just landed and all of a sudden appeared out of nowhere. I think there is historic precedent. I think there's prophecy. I think people, the mystics, realized that there was something coming.
But how do you call it prophecy when one group of people actually decides that they're going to take liberally from another tradition and then annihilate that tradition?
I mean, I don't know if that's something that if you cognitive.
Now, I'm an author. I've written a book, right? If you had found out that Jabari El-Sazi wrote a book, and then someone said, "Wait a minute, this book, word for word, was written by someone else." Well, who's that other person? I don't know. He died, and Jabari was. Strangely, he was at the scene of the murder. You would start saying, "Wait a minute, something nefarious has occurred."
But then you gotta look at humanity and be like, all right. So Napoleon, when he made that famous statement of how Jesus Christ is more influential on the world than he could ever be, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when you look at that, you're talking about millions of people that have fallen into this hallucination. Are we distrusting humanity so much where we're saying that millions, potentially billions of people are out of their mind? Are they out of their mind? Or is there something to this that we might not be able to capture in a literal sense and make it make logical sense in our world, but it is something that nonetheless exists because you got 2 million people that would die for Christ.
It's not 2 million, it's 2 billion.
Sorry.
But I want to be clear that I'm someone who was once Christian, right? Mm-hmm. And some of the most beautiful people that I know are Christian. I'm not even saying that there isn't value in studying many of the, not all of it. I read the Bible very critically. Not all of it. The misogyny in the Bible is ridiculous. But honestly, when we look at what some really wonderful people have done because those stories have touched their lives, I would be crazy to say you should take it away from them. I'm talking historically now. I think we have to recognize that Christianity came from somewhere. And
I agree with that. I agree it came from somewhere.
And as it came from somewhere, we have to look at where it came from, how it was created, and who sought to author a literal historical tradition. That you have to say is the Roman Empire. It occurs in the 3rd and 4th century. That's what is happening.
But the Romans were against Christianity, though, in the beginning. I mean, you're talking about 300-400 years.
I would argue that Christianity would not exist were it not for the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire takes this small itinerant thing and makes it essentially this massive tradition. Mm-hmm. It would not. So when you say the Romans were against Christianity, there were some examples of them being against the tradition earlier. But at the same time, you have to say, without the Roman Empire, let's just be clear, what's the largest Christian denomination in the world?
Well, Roman and Byzantine. Byzantine Empire carried a lot of the Christian traditions.
Wait. No, you're not answering the question. What's the largest Christian denomination in the world in 2026?
Protestant, probably? No. Roman Catholic?
Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
So let's be very clear that this is what occurred. By the way, look, contradicted.
It says largest Christian denomination is the Catholic Church.
Yes.
I'm talking, when I say Byzantine, I'm talking about like 300, 400 AD. I'm not talking about modern day.
But the Byzantine Church is part of the Roman Church.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lineage. Yeah, totally.
It's part of the. So you're not describing something different. If it was not for Constantine,
no. My point is the tradition was carried and was strong enough, and it was based upon something real and tangible enough that it made it to 2,000 years later.
What do you mean by real and tangible? I don't have a problem.
Like real and tangible is like, you know, again, we disagree on this, but real and tangible is whatever the 12 disciples saw, willing to sacrifice one's life for whatever they saw. That to me is real and tangible, because people don't walk into death, you know, if they're believing in nothing. Like you wouldn't feel like, all right, kill me, I'm going to sing songs now as you're skinning me alive, if you thought that what comes after is not greater than what exists today.
But see, what you just said is not about the historicity of Jesus.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not talking about the historicity. I'm talking about the real.
But that's what we're talking about.
I'm talking about the reality of a living Christ existing right this moment.
Now, when you say a living Christ,
yes,
once again, you may be talking about something that is larger than a literal guy that made cabinets and wore sandals with some long.
I mean, I don't get it.
You're talking about.
We're talking about. There's a manifestation of God.
Well, listen, I'm talking about. I'm really talking about how people use the best teachings of the Bible, and there's some amazing teachings of the Bible, right?
I mean, if you look at what the world was before, the reason we have a semi-civilized society right now is because of the Bible. Because if you go back in time,
how many millions
of Christianity?
Wait a minute, come on now. You know, you're also talking to the descendants of slaves, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
you're talking as a descendant of a slave too.
But there's no way that you're going to get me to agree that Christianity has been this panacea for the world's ills, because the reality is
that's not what I'm saying.
Many of the worst things that have occurred with people that wore a cross around their neck and said Jesus.
Yeah, so crusades, I agree. I mean, used for political purposes.
Sure.
Roman Catholics selling a gateway to heaven, all satanic ideas. Yes, I know the church has been misused for corrupt, evil things. But
you're making it sound
much more so than good things.
You're making it sound like the world before Christianity was this horrific hellscape. And then Christianity came, and now we all agree. I would love for you.
That's all I'm saying. It's still a horrific hellscape. It gave us a semblance of morality of what the right way was.
To the 272.
To who?
To the 272. Those people that were sold by Georgetown University into more arduous enslavement. That institution is still one of the most revered academic institutions in the United States.
We just talked about how Christianity has been used for evil a lot, and I agree.
But
so that 272 is a great example.
But then you can't also try to make this sound like Christianity came in the world is better. I don't know.
I'm saying, yeah, it is better, but it's like far from. I mean, we're still living in Satan's playground.
Okay,
it's better to the sense of like if you decide to get the message of Christ, to improve your life, to improve your family, to improve your children, you have that option. It's something that you could pick out.
I want you to glance at the screen every now and then.
I don't know. To be honest with you, man, AI. I don't know if AI is a good AI. I've searched for example, the manuscripts I talk about. Our manuscripts. I've been to actually Caucasus and I've been to Armenia. I've seen these things. You ask AI right now, I'll tell you it doesn't exist. I tell you it exists. I've seen it myself. I've talked to people.
The challenge is that they're not ancient. These are things that people wrote more recently.
Not the stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about ancient. I mean,
those haven't been documented online, so it can't pull it.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like getting some old Armenian manuscripts from like 1,500, 1,800 years ago is not going to exist on ChatGPT. It exists though. I mean, I highly encourage you to go and hang out with some Armenian Orthodox priests and ask them. Hey, what's your traditions? Give me the information you have. What is it?
Listen, I do that, right? I do that. I also have an MDiv, so I enjoy this kind of thing, and I think that some of the folks that are in these traditions, all of them, are amazing. Right? Good people, right? So I would do that. I would literally do that. But we're talking about historicity now. Okay, I don't have my MDiv hat on now. I have my historian hat on now.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I think that we have to just recognize is. A great evil was done when these earlier traditions were destroyed. And they were destroyed largely. I wish I could just show you some images now.
If you're talking about the Gnostics and stuff?
Even them. I mean, why did they think they needed
By the way,
why did some of them think they needed to bury their texts in dusty sands in Kemet because they began to realize, wait a minute, we're getting wiped out. These texts should still survive.
By the way, I know about this stuff too because the Gnostics, a lot of them were ancient Armenians, and we've actually heard these stories in our culture where when Christianity came, they killed a lot of people to cover up what came before that because they wanted to erase that history. I know about
this. People, they need to read the book of Jesus first. Anyone who's seen me on other platforms knows I say it all the time. People nod, almost no one ever reads it. But we need to be aware of how this tradition came into existence. People think that reading the Bible will give them the history of Christianity. It will not. It will not. You have to understand what happened, who did it, why, and when. And when you begin to study the historical narrative, you see some things that are really, really disturbing. And this is a real concern of mine. And I think that you also have to, let me just finish the sentence. I think you also have to, when you look at some of the texts, even though it's in Armenia, you'll actually see that those texts are not contemporary to contemporaneous
to Christ.
To Christ. And that's the challenge.
Do you know
now,
what you're asking?
Wait, but let me say this. Did decent people write something that was supposed to tell people how to live a good life? Sure. And that's wonderful. We should read them for that purpose, right? But when we're trying to say this is actually a historical narrative and it existed just as we've been told, that's where we get into trouble.
I won't argue with you. That's not as we've been told. Because I think a lot of the stuff's been switched around. A lot of lies introduced. My core belief is that yes, I believe that there was a Jesus Christ. I believe that changed the direction of the world. I believe that this is a living Christ, living figure, and the beating of death, the idea that he was able to beat death, I think is the point of basically telling us that we're in a matrix that is a death matrix. It's all evil. It's all to invert what is right, what is the message of Christ, and you have an avenue there to an afterlife, to living forever, like Christ, as long as you realize the matrix we're living in. And if my final point is what I realize is the existence of Christ is because of the inversion of our laws and how that is their number one goal, whether it's like the family courts that take away kids, whether it's robbing us of our money in this euthanasia system, everything is to the opposite of what Christ wanted. If you look at every ill of society right now, of what's happening, it is the inversion of Christ.
Some of the people doing it are some of the most pious Christians. At least they say.
I'm playing my career mode.
Shapes brother. Well, you know that is somebody could sit up there and be like, I'm Christ-like, and they're Judas. And there's a lot of deceivers like that.
Honestly, there are tons of deceivers. I don't know if the answer is Christianity, but I do think that if we were going to link arms and try to fight against some of the evils that have happened in this country are still happening, we would agree on that. I'm just saying to you, when we try to find a historical tether to the narrative of Jesus Christ, we struggle. The narrative of the disciples, we struggle. And I'm going to end with this. For almost 2,000 years, when people think of resurrection, they think of Jesus. For over 3,000 years, when they thought of resurrection, they used the name of Sar.
Yeah.
And so we should understand.
By the way, one quick point I want to make. Sure. This could be a cyclical thing too. It could be because if you look at the world, a lot of the things that we're learning now with the floods and all that, how humanity basically reaches a pinnacle and then it destroys itself, and then a new civilization is built. It could be that every cycle is a Christ-like character. I don't know. I'm too stupid of a human to know what is the reality.
I don't think you're stupid.
Of the different dimensions that our eyes don't see. We see 3% of what's out there, right? But I do think that, my personal opinion, I think there's a core in this that is literally like you could be evil, you could be good, and that's what it is. I think all the church, the Christian, this, that, I think it puts, when you put titles on stuff, it destroys it. black, white, whatever. You know what I mean? It creates divisions. Right. To me, it's very simple. It's black and white. There's good, there's evil. The word of Christ is good, and then that's what I see our governments do, the Federal Reserve do, the family law courts do. Everything in this constructed world is an inversion of that. Right?
Everything is evil.
Wow. If you
have a driver's license?
If you actually investigate,
you have a driver's license?
I do have.
Oh my goodness, you are agreeing with the devil.
No, but I mean, look,
everything is evil.
I think when you talk about government and what they've constructed,
right.
they've constructed an evil matrix. I'm not saying everything is evil.
Okay.
I'm saying that the matrix that was created is an inversion of what God wants us to do. That's it. And that is intentional. That is through our money. That is through our familial. That's through our courts. And it's all intentional to basically steal our sovereignty. Because that's the whole trick. They want us to make us slaves. They want us to make us physical slaves. They want to make us mental slaves.
Right.
And right now where we are, we're at a pinnacle of mental slavery in human history.
Okay.
I believe.
I think there's a lot for us to agree on, even though there's some things that we don't.
That's why we agree on some stuff.
Conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, guys, check out the description. We'll include a link to everyone's social media handles. See you next time. Peace.
Thank you.
If you learned anything from this episode or got any value at all, please share this episode with a friend. It helps us grow the channel. It helps us grow the podcast. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
The most law?
Huh? You want one?